Welcome back, friends, to another presidential adventure set in the world of Chaosium's Call of Cthulhu. As the keeper of arcane lore and historian of the esoteric archives, I, Ben Shapiro, will serve as the game master and guiding hand in cataloging the explorations of insane cultists, hideous monsters, and unknowable horrors from the void. This marks the second episode in our playthrough, so be sure to check out our first chapter, Terror on the Yellow King Flyer, before watching this one.
Took you long enough, Ben. Last time we played this, Barack was still letting me run for president. Say, you're looking a bit different.
You know, now that you mention it, I think we all look a bit spiffier tonight.
Probably. The natural glow of happiness millions of Americans are experiencing from me retaking the White House. But don't let Shabibo off the hook. I was this close to calling JD in here and having him be the keeper of arcane lore without you if we had to wait much longer.
I don't think he'd go for Ben's game master chair, Donald. We all know his penchant for couches.
Gets funnier every time you bring it up, Barack.
So do your cabinet picks. Although most of your appointees are closer to terrifying, which I suppose sets the perfect mood for another dive into Lovecraftian madness.
Well said, Barry. I'm ready to saddle up for another mystery-filled romp, and I know our fans are too. That's why I've taken to learning some of this newfangled tech so I can stream this session. People just need to go to Joe 30330 to watch us.
I don't know, Joe, that doesn't sound right. Maybe you should have someone to help you set these things up.
Ask Hunter. I hear he's good with laptops.
Don't encourage him, Donald.
Fine. I guess he doesn't need more distractions. He'll have a hard enough time remembering what happened last session.
I still have my notes from that. I can give a quick story rundown to make sure we're all on the same page.
In a moment, Barack. I want to start out with some skill upgrades first. I'll have you each roll with skills you've successfully used to see if you can increase your stats going into this chapter. Why don't you start us off? In order to upgrade those skills, you must roll a score above your current skill point with the percentile dice. If you can manage that, you'll then roll a d10 and add on that many points to that skill. Looks like you had some success with Spot Hidden, Persuade, and Firearms in our last game, so you'll roll for those.
Just make sure he's not allowed to use any high-capacity dice when he rolls for Firearms. It's just common sense, according to him.
Dot, I can't believe people voted for 4 more years of this. Just let me roll in peace, Donald. All right, that's a bonus to Persuade and Spot Hidden with a total of 39 for Persuade and 57 for Spot Hidden.
Nice work, Obama. Donald, do you want to go next?
Sure thing, Ben. Let's see now. I'll be rolling for Accounting, Anthropology, Appraise.
Whoa. I don't remember you succeeding in any of those skills.
You might as well be saying you breathe air, Joe. Forgetting is all you do these days.
Cut the crap, Donnie. You're literally just reading every skill off the sheet.
Duh. That's because they all deserve a boost after I saved you and Joe last game.
Donald! I have you marked for victories with Persuade, Occult, Fast Talk, and nothing else. Try and claim other skills you didn't use, and I'll ban you from skill upgrades for the rest of the campaign.
Oh, have a heart, Ben. At least let him try and boost his law skill, too. He needs all the help he can get keeping his orange ass out of prison.
Just give me the dice. Well, that's about right. Not a single damn skill upgrade. Starting off the rigging early this game, aren't you, Ben?
The dice aren't always going to go your way.
Whatever. My skills are great right now, probably the greatest. Were it not for these 2 anchors I have weighing me down, I'd have already met the professor and stopped the cultists.
I thought the professor was a cultist. The more I think about it, the more I wonder if it was really him who sent us that cursed phonograph.
Don't get ahead of yourself, Joey. You still need to roll and see if you can upgrade your dodge or throw skills. I suppose that should be easy with the way you've been dodging the press, huh? Or practically throwing elections.
What's wrong with you, Ben?
Yeah, where did that come from?
Seriously? You guys give each other grief every game we play together.
Of course, we do. But it's like a president thing. Come on, man.
Yeah, leave Sleepy Joe alone, Ben, or I'm adding the entirety of the Daily Wire staff to my mass deportation list.
That's cruel, but fair in this case.
Fine, I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries, Benji. Now pass me the dice. Malarkey. Not only did I inherit an unlucky economy, but unlucky rolls from Donald, too.
I guess you're the only one who managed any skill upgrades this time around, Barack. Did you want to give us that recap now?
Well, we still haven't learned much about our mysterious professor yet, and we struck out trying to find his manservant aboard the train, but we managed to learn a bit about Stonehurst. I found out that a gang called the Dragon's Talon is active in the town, And Joe's encounter makes me think there's likely a black market on esoteric items like grimoires or strange artifacts. The thief sounded hopeful that he could find a fence that would pay him for Mrs. Walcott's spellbook. Donald was able to get a bit of intel that the elite of Stonehurst society used to dote upon this Professor Walker, but now they hold him in ill repute.
Kind of reminds you of a handsome businessman who wants to drain the swamp, doesn't it?
It might if the professor also drove 4 different casinos to bankruptcy.
Pipe down, you two. Like I was saying, he's had a falling out with the mayor, who sounds very interested in arcane tomes as well. And then there were those things. I'm still coming to grips with what happened. It doesn't seem real.
Those creatures were real, all right, and I'm still betting this Walker's behind it all. But why would the professor lure us onto a train and risk slaughtering all those people just to get to us? He sent us the letters, so he already knew where to find us if he wanted to come after us.
I don't think he did. Walker mentioned that people were coming after him, and the recording confirmed as much when it said he was meddling with the Path of the Seekers, whatever that is. Maybe they discovered he'd sent for us and delivered that summoning device to stop us. Although considering the power it took to banish those eldritch creatures, the sorcery that permeated that recording could only come from someone dabbling in very powerful magics. If that's the case, we need Walker to tell us who we're really up against.
And that's another thing. One minute I see a beast out of my worst nightmares nearly behead a gangster and survive a bullet to the head. The next it just came apart. The thing's disgusting limbs just melted away, and that was supposedly thanks to Donald using magic. I just have so many questions.
Perhaps answers will come sooner than you think. It's been a fitful night's sleep for the 3 of you following the train crash and assault from the officer. For you, Joe, the faces of terrified passengers fleeing for their lives and visions of wretched monsters infest your dreams. Meanwhile, the death of the Dragon's Talon Gang member churns about like a shadow play in the folds of your brain, Barack, all accompanied by the unholy chanting of the phonograph that brought the abominations into being. And Donald, you suffer the worst of the group over the course of the evening, your weakened sanity making your mind susceptible to a maddening sea of nightmares. However, it is not the attack of the monsters that disturbs you so. Imagery from the revelations of Tanakh feverishly swirl within your dream state, the strange symbols rising from pages of dark knowledge, taking on life of their own and forming into vestigial polyps that seem to pull you through a tear in the cosmos. You find yourself, or at least what you believe to be yourself, transported and stranded upon a rocky beach, staring up into black stars, hanging impossibly low over towering ruins of a lost city. A name conjures from the ether, Carcosa. A garbled version of the name escapes your lips in a scream as you all awaken simultaneously with a start. Gathering your bearings in a confined room, you sit up from 3 cots and take notice of the chilly night air blowing in through broken panels of the room's sole window. Despite the decrepit state of the cell, heavy iron bars over the window and the sturdy wooden door look strong enough to prevent escape. Agent Obama winces in pain as he rises, taking notice of several bandages now wrapped about his wounded leg. The dressing appears relatively clean, despite your dismal surroundings, and with a day's rest, you may even be fully healed. As it is, you have recovered 3 of your lost hit points and can at least maintain a brisk walk.
You know, one of those policemen mentioned a doctor before I passed out. You think there could be one around here? Seems like we're in more of a prison than a hospital.
I really don't know where we are.
Judging by the look of things, probably a blue state. Either that or we've all been quarantined thanks to the China virus.
Are you going to suggest we start injecting bleach again?
Shut up, Joe. You're probably thrilled about this. We're living out your COVID dream right now, being locked down in a dark room. Wait a minute.
That's right, Donald. Your phobia of darkness lingers from your encounter with the abominations in the woods. The dim bulb situated above you provides just enough light that I won't run a sanity check, but your frayed mental state is noticeable to your companions.
Noticeable to the American people, too. Anyways, what was that you muttered coming out of your sleep?
I don't know, covfefe or something. It doesn't matter. Let's just focus on trying to get out of here. Ben, I want to take a look at the door, make sure it's locked, and check for any weaknesses.
I'll check out the window.
I'll have both of you roll for spot hidden. That's 75 and 62. Both failures, I'm afraid.
Joe's the only failure here. I rolled that way on purpose.
I'm sure. As it is, Donald, you inspect the door, which remains in place despite the firm shove you give it. You notice the handle has been removed from your side, and you see a small sliding vision panel in the door that you are just able to open. Glancing down a dimly lit hallway, Barack's prison comment is all but confirmed as you spot multiple rooms. each secured with an external padlock. You spot some reversed lettering on the door at the end of the hall that reads, Patient Quarters.
Looks like we're in some kind of asylum. Not gonna lie, that's where Joey probably belongs.
Biden's inspection of the window proves fruitless. It would take inhuman strength to wrench the bars free from their position bolted into the wall. Peering out the partially smashed window, you can just make out your vantage point from the second story, overlooking a small courtyard and driveway that ends at a stone wall with a gate. In the glow of the moonlight, you spot one word on a fading placard on the wall that says, Sanitorium.
So we're in a nut house. Not gonna lie, that's where Donnie probably belongs.
Focus, guys. Sounds like the window's a lost cause, but we might have a chance with the door. Ben, can we reach the padlock on the other side of the door through the viewing slot? Maybe try lockpicking the door?
From Donald's observations, it sounds like that might work. Seeing as you all have at least 30 dexterity, we'll say each of you could reach the padlock without a skill check.
Barry, you should try your lock-picking skill on the door. I'll bet you've got the most points in that.
I mean, yes, I do, Joe. Although we need to have a talk about why you assume these things. Regardless, I want to roll to try to pick the door lock. Should be pretty easy with the bonus from my federal agent toolkit.
Reaching for your equipment, you realize all your inventory items have been removed. This is also true across your entire party.
Damn, I don't even have a gun anymore?
Discovering a new love for the Second Amendment over there, Barry?
Get bent, Donald. I hope you didn't love that spell book you took last chapter.
Crap, what did you do, Ben?
Don't worry. Any items taken from you over the course of the game due to story events will be retrievable, provided you explore your surroundings thoroughly. Following the natural beats of your investigation should point you in the right direction.
Confound it, that means I lost my lighter too.
Remember, Joe, you never picked it back up after you started the fire in the last chapter. Tracking your skills and characteristics is important, but maintaining your inventory items is something you'll also need to master if you want to succeed.
Something you should have taught Hunter before he left that cocaine in the West Wing library.
Ben, I think I've got a better way to get out of this room. I want to roll to throw Donald and ram him against the door to break it open.
Don't let him get to you, Joe, and don't waste a roll with that. Besides, there's no way your character has enough strength to toss Trump's lard ass.
My doctor says I have a great weight, the best weight.
Enough. None of you will be getting a roll. Your arguing has not gone unnoticed, and you suddenly hear muffled discussion and the telltale click of the padlock to your room. The door swings open, revealing 4 hulking orderlies with disconcertingly pale skin and milky eyes. The largest one at the lead turns back to the others. Take them. Doc said he wants to see them when they wake up. The orderlies rush into the room to grab you with fighting rolls of 38, 44, 23, and 59, meaning 2 normal successes, a critical success, and a failure. Although you're outnumbered, the last orderly is unable to reach you in the confines of the room, tripping over one of the sleeping cots and leaving the 3 of you evenly matched for this round. What will you do?
All right, guys, we've had a rough start, but we'll get out of this if we work together. I'll roll to fight back with my brawling skill. I've got more than double the points in that compared to my dodging. That's a 10.
That's an extreme success.
I want to use it against the thug with the hard success.
Good call. The leading orderly, not expecting you to have use of your bandaged leg so soon, is caught off guard as you charge forward, gripping both his arms and driving your knee hard into his stomach, dealing 3 points of damage, sending the man collapsing to the ground.
Nice one, Barack.
That's my boy, Barry. Now, Donald, I have a higher fighting skill than you. If you dodge, I'll give him the what for.
Easy. I've done this with bullets, so punches shouldn't be a problem. That's it. I'm definitely getting JD in here next time. He wouldn't use these rigged dice. There's no way I rolled a damn 75.
A failure, then. A swiping backhanded blow sends you reeling back against the cell wall, dealing 4 points of damage, leaving you in a daze.
I want to roll, Ben. I've got to help him.
There's still the 3rd attacker coming for you, Joe. Fight him off with a hard success, and I'll give you initiative against Donald's attacker.
Well, that's a success with a 35, but I want to push it to try to make it a hard success.
I'll allow it. Just remember, it could always...
Damn it.
Like I was saying, it could always turn against you, like this failure of 62. The orderly closes you in a crushing bear hug, dispensing 5 damage as you can feel his tight grip crack one of your ribs. Enough! The attendant closest to Donald pins him against the wall, turning his head to glare at Obama. You'll come with us now, before this goes any further. He tightens a massive hand around Trump's throat.
All right, don't hurt him. We'll go with you. Right, guys?
Yeah, we'll go.
Not like we have a choice.
The orderlies lead the 3 of you out of the room past the other cells in the hallway. Occasional manic laughter and indistinct mutterings from behind closed doors indicate most of them are occupied. Several have malnourished arms reaching through the viewing slots, begging for crumbs of bread and drops of water. It's anyone's guess just how long these poor souls have been trapped here. You're led down a twisting flight of stairs to a set of rooms at ground level and roughly shoved through the doorway of an office, cluttered with all manner of esoteric paraphernalia. Dusty volumes of modern psychiatry lay scattered at the foot of large bookshelves, replaced with strange tomes and unrecognizable medical equipment. Hastily erected tables line the walls of the room, littered with what appeared to be confiscated items of sanatorium patients.
Ah, welcome, gentlemen. My name is Dr. Peterson. I'm a clinical psychologist.
Your attention is drawn to the middle-aged doctor seated at a desk, his expression unreadable in the light of the withering candle to his left. He nods to another individual nestled in the corner darkness of the room.
That will be all, Officer Graham.
Stepping into the room's bleak candlelight, you recognize the policeman who discovered you all in the wreckage of the train cars. If it's all the same, sir, I'd like to stay here for the questioning. The officer glowers at the three of you.
It's not all the same, Graham. Doctor, patient confidentiality, don't forget, and you'll do well to remember the terms of our agreement when you bring me cases like these. I'll remind you that the charitable donations this establishment provides your department should have some weight in your decisions here. Don't you agree?
Yes, I do, sir. I'll still have some men stationed around the premises in case of trouble.
Fine. Now the three of you have a seat. We have much to discuss.
The asylum workers force you into several wooden chairs across from Peterson and retreat to the edges of the cluttered office as Officer Graham exits the room.
All right, Ben, trying to fight our way out was no good, but maybe we can make a break for it? Like if I bolt for the door or the windows, could I lead us all to escape?
After the way you pulled out of Afghanistan, not likely.
I'll have you roll a dexterity check to gauge your chances of successfully fleeing before being caught again. Sorry, Joe, that's a 50. You observe the positions that the orderlies have taken up. They've carefully stationed themselves to prevent you from harming the doctor or attempting another escape. Best to handle whatever business Peterson has with you.
There's nothing to discuss. We won't be staying. The only thing you can tell me is the name of this hellhole so I can let my lawyer know where to pick us up when I get my phone call.
He ignores you, a mirthless smile beginning to crease his face.
This is the 12 Edicts Sanatorium, an antidote to chaos, so to speak. And I'm afraid phone privileges are revoked for disturbed patients such as yourself.
You can't keep us here, Jack. We have rights. All men are created equal by the... Oh, you know the thing.
Let me handle this, Joe. Doctor, my name is Barack Obama. I'm...
A federal agent? Yes, I think this belongs to you.
He casually reaches into a drawer in his desk and withdraws your badge and identification from the bureau.
I must say, your superiors were most dismayed to hear you were conducting an unsanctioned investigation into antiquity smuggling.
He gives Donald and Joe a quick appraisal.
Frankly, I think they were right to question your story.
How do you know about that?
The survivors of the wreck of the Yellow King Flyer have occupied a great deal of my time over the last few days.
Days? How long have we been here?
5 days to be precise. Considering the fact you were unconscious when Graham had you brought here, I decided to keep you sedated while we tended to the others. Your injuries seemed minor compared to the wretches that escaped the carnage.
There were others who survived the attack, the crash.
Peterson notes your guarded words and returns your ID to his desk.
Their bodies have made it this far. I am attempting to restore their minds. I believe you passed several of them on the way here.
You mean those people you had locked up with us? No way all of them came from the train. I'll get this place shut down faster than I shut down USAID, you monster.
Up yours, woke moralist. We'll see who cancels who. If you knew just how many we've lost, how many we tried to save, we're not equipped to handle this amount of bodily trauma. Most of the ones that didn't succumb to horrific injuries right away took their own lives. As for the rest, I was able to piece together a little bit of what occurred before the derailment over their first few days of treatment before a terrible psychosis overtook all of them. Every single passenger from that train, except you three.
He then fixes his gaze hard on Joe.
You made quite the impression, sailor, caught bumbling your way through the dining car so you could try to steal this for Donald.
He pulls the Revelations of Tanakh from a shelf behind him and opens to one of the pages.
A collection of partially translated fantasies and ramblings. The police reviewed some correspondence recovered between the late Elizabeth Walcott and the mayor of Stonehurst, Massachusetts. She intended to give them away. Hardly seems like a book worth smuggling.
He closes the tome, delicately placing it back in the opening on the shelf.
But it's what happened next that interests me. A steward, regrettably now deceased, went to your cabin to check up on things but was stopped in his tracks, his blood running cold at the sound of ungodly chanting. The next thing he remembered was a rush of force like an earthquake. Then the crash, and then I'd hoped you'd tell me what happened next, Joe.
I don't know, Ben. If I tell him the truth, he'll think I'm crazy and never let me out of here.
Don't be too hasty, Joe. I say go for it.
Quiet, you. I want to roll for fast talk. I'm not big on answering these kind of questions in real life, and I'm not about to start in this game.
You'll need less than 30.
A 17, the Bidenator doesn't miss, baby. You're coming up with a story taller than any sea tale I've ever told, Doc. I don't know what kind of malarkey you heard about what happened, but it's a damn lie. I wouldn't do anything to that train. I love trains. Come on, man. Why do you think they call me Mr. Amtrak? They say I've traveled more miles by train than my own ship.
Peterson looks at you curiously. Wherever he'd hoped to take his line of questioning, it's clear he's reconsidering. He wordlessly pauses to jot a few notes down on some papers in front of him.
I see. Perhaps I was mistaken to question you so soon after the incident. It would seem your mind is still in a fragile state. Besides, I believe directing my attention on Donald will prove far more enlightening.
Don't waste your breath on questions, Doc.
Actually, Mr. Trump, I don't have any questions for you. I just want to start with some basic word association.
You know what? Fine. I'll play along. But while I'm doing that, Ben, can I steal some quick glances at the shelf where he's keeping the spell book?
There's no way you'd be able to grab it in time.
True, but there's something else going on here, Obama. You saw all the strange books this guy's keeping, including the Revelations. And for something he called worthless, he was awful careful when he put it back. He knows more than he's letting on, and he's trying to trap us.
I'd say we're pretty well trapped as it is, Donnie. Look, I agree this place is bad news, but he's got us outnumbered. I don't know what he's up to, but if we can convince him that we don't know what happened, we might just get away from this place. You saw the control he has over the police. Don't antagonize him.
When would I ever? I get along with everybody. I meet people all the time. They say, wow, this guy gets along with everybody. Now, how about that roll, Ben?
If you want to do it secretly, I'll have you roll for stealth since you have fewer points in that skill. You'll need under 20 to avoid detection in this confined space, especially with the orderlies still watching from the corners. And you'll only be allowed to roll provided you keep him talking.
Donnie's all talk. Should be no trouble.
Bite me. Am I gonna have a single damn success this whole game, Ben?
I don't control the dice, Donald. All I can tell you is that your brief glances do not go unnoticed by Peterson, who carefully notes your scanning of the velvet-lined shelf containing the Revelations of Tanakh. He watches as you pore over the titles and glyphs of other volumes nestled nearby. One tome, appearing more like a personal journal with the initials AJ on the side, bears a strange sigil, the same pattern as the shimmering constellation from your visions, and the connection is unmistakable.
Let's begin, shall we? Just state the first word that comes to mind. Apprentice.
Fired.
Sexy.
Ivanka.
Lies.
CNN.
Love.
Elon.
Hate.
Also Elon.
He pauses, focusing on you in the unnerving quiet.
How about Carcosa?
You involuntarily allow a brief flicker of fear to flash across your face.
Can I roll for fast talk or make a charisma check to throw him off?
Not this time, Donald. Your reaction plays into your failure to hide your intrigued gazing at his occult tomes. And the doctor has certainly taken an interest.
Fascinating. Let's talk about that for a moment. Let's be expressly clear about what you mean by the word Carcosa.
Say, isn't that what you called out when we woke up earlier?
I can't believe I'm saying it, but good memory, Joe. What's going on, Donald?
Nothing. He's just trying to get in our heads. I don't know what he's talking about.
Jordan's eyes turn toward Barack, his brow furrowing with concern.
Let's consider this rationally, Agent Obama. You and your sailor friend have been thrust into a whirlwind of confusion, trauma, and unexplainable visions. It's understandable to look for meaning, especially when someone like Mr. Trump here is so eager to provide it.
Here we go again. The bad orange man must be behind it all.
Do I think you derailed a train, Mr. Trump? No. Many things along that forest could be a perfectly explainable culprit. Fallen trees, loose boulders tumbling down from the tall hills. But do I think you're capable of, consciously or not, setting the stage for a delusional event so compelling that it ensnared those around you? Absolutely. Even the most novice scholar of Jung couldn't deny the influence of the shadow manifesting in your every deed and word. You're a man of means, with time, to enshroud yourself so convincingly in your esoteric literature that you can practically manifest your beliefs in others around you, given the right conditions, using the chaos of a cataclysm as the groundwork of shared psychosis to the point that you think monsters attacked the train after the episode in your cabin. That's what you were going to tell me, wasn't it, Joe? You don't have to protect this man, Mr. Biden. He's not your friend.
How do you know about those things?
The others from the train, before their demise, the accounts differed in descriptions and grotesqueness, but the tales remained the same. Fantastical carnage wrought by indescribable horrors, injuries that could be so easily explained by the derailment and damage resulting. But when a lunatic fills a dining car with imaginings from grimoires and cryptic theories, the mind will find any path out of mayhem. Or do you deny your ramblings with Mrs. Walcott?
Look, maybe you're right.
Well, I don't believe this. And after I called you my bro-bama.
Now hold on, Donald. Mr. Peterson, if there is someone behind this, I don't believe it's Mr. Trump, that chanting you mentioned earlier. It came on a wax cylinder played on a phonograph delivered to our room. I think there is a group based out of Stonehurst that might have mastered transmittable hypnosis through recorded messages. I told you guys as much in the car.
Come now, Agent. Would such things have been sent all over the rest of the train? Is that how all the deceased passengers developed this mania? Or is it far more likely that a wealthy man like Mr. Trump could arrange all this from the beginning? Perhaps through some distant correspondence at the outset. A simple courier delivering a package of strange designs. Why do you think there is anything of interest in Stonehurst for you? Are you supposed to meet someone? From what I gather, Donald's the only one who has true motivation to start any of this.
Now that you mention it, it is rather strange that so far in trying to meet with a professor, Donald's already gotten a spellbook he wants. I'm no closer to any of the answers I wanted, that's for sure.
And you never will be if you keep buying this crap, Barry. Forget about the book for a second. You saw one of those things up close. It tore out that gangster's throat before coming after you.
Yes, Barack. Forget the book, which Donald conveniently obtained from a frail woman with a broken neck. A much more forgiving injury than the lacerations and broken bones in the others we've treated here. I'm sure that's just coincidental. Indeed, let's focus on these supposed creatures. No remains of any kind have been found. When I reviewed the incident report with Officer Graham, I noted several of the bodies recovered that were dead on arrival. The Oriental Mr. Trump refers to?
He opens a folder on his desk, quickly shuffling papers before locating a document.
Found slumped against some ravaged trestle, a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the temple. No doubt his suicide is another casualty of the mental unraveling that followed the crash.
Now listen here, you lying dog-faced pony soldier. I don't care what you think of me, but you don't understand what happened. My buddy Donald saved us all with that spellbook.
Oh, I understand perfectly. These beings ceased to exist once he spoke words that no one else could read from a book that you yourself couldn't understand. Let's be frank, Mr. Trump. You have latched on to a fragmenting perception of reality, clearly inspired by this Carcosa fantasy, and constructed a mythology around it. Couple that with your rapid, braggadocious speech, delusional associations, heightened paranoia. What we are witnessing are classic symptoms of mythopsychotic dissociation, and I will not allow it to affect your companions further.
I can't believe this might be all in our heads, but things may not be what they seem, Ben. To play devil's advocate, can I roll a psychology check on Donald?
Ben, can I roll a first aid check to try to heal from Obama stabbing me in the back?
Donald, there's something you're not telling us since we got here, and I know it has to do with that book. The doctor makes a strong case, and I just want to really know what's going on. It's all so much.
Actually, Barack, to assess another player character's mental stability, you'll need to pass a psychoanalysis check. But given these questionable circumstances, I'm going to require Donald to start with a psychology check first to determine the outward sanity he will display.
Of course. Why should I expect anything else at this point?
That's 85, well over the 60 you needed, causing the anxiety surrounding the doctor's accusations to be noticeable, albeit with subtle signs that would require attention. Let's see if you can pick up on them, Barack. You'll need less than 35.
There's a 32. Sorry, Donnie, but I have to go with my gut on this one.
A regular success. You observe Donald closely for the first time since your encounter on the Yellow King flyer. Taking in his bloodshot, twitchy eyes, tremor in his voice, and rigid posture, as if bracing for some unseen menace, it's difficult to suggest he's not suffering from some kind of psychosis.
Can't get behind you on this one, Barack. Although outside the game, you might have a point. All these tariffs and foreign unrest, it's pretty clear Donald's lost his marbles.
I'd say look who's talking, Joe. But every time you step in front of a camera, you can't even manage that anymore. Still, I'll take your babbling over Barack's betrayal.
I'm not done yet. Ben, I also want to do this same check on Jordan. Maybe Donald's right, and this is all part of some elaborate trick.
Now you're talking. This should clear my name faster than the Mueller report.
Normally, this would be reserved for fellow investigators, but in this case, Dr. Peterson, I'll have you roll for a psychology check as well. Looking at your sheet, you'll need to beat a 50.
Now hold on, there's a lot to unpack in that command. What do you mean by beat? Postmodernists would suggest...
Jordan, you would not believe the crap I have to put up with from these presidents day in and day out. I don't need it from our guests. Please, for the love of Israel, just roll your dice.
How marvelous, a 21. That's a hard success.
You heard him, Obama. You'll need a hard success on this psychoanalysis roll.
No chance of that happening with a 74.
You study Peterson as he speaks. There's no tremor in his voice, no hesitation. Despite everything that makes you uneasy about this place, you cannot sense any manipulation in his words. In fact, it's his lack of performance that rattles you most. He seems to genuinely believe Donald is mentally unwell and seems able to back up the diagnosis in the best way possible, with facts and logic.
Grief, stress, auditory suggestion, it can all cascade into an episodic break. Combine that with religious symbology and fringe material like these revelations of Tanakh, and the mind will build connections where none exist. A healthy human brain can be remarkably eager to make patterns out of chaos. And I'm not entirely sure that's what we're working with here.
You can't be serious. Can't you see he's in on it somehow and trying to keep us locked up? Back me up here, Joe.
To be fair, Donald, Barack wasn't with you the whole time, but I can vouch you're not crazy. Would a crazy person tackle their buddy out of harm's way to protect him from a monster like Donald did in the woods, completely abandoning his own safety? Okay, maybe they would. But for him, it was probably out of care for others. Of course, he let that one woman who warned us get tossed away into the darkness. Never did find out what happened to her, but are we supposed to put average Americans over ourselves? Come on, man, we're presidents.
Presidents? I see.
Dr. Peterson closes a folder with finality.
Mr. Biden, you've certainly developed some eccentricities, largely benign, but I must insist you remain here for a few days more.
He turns to his gruesome attendants who silently start to move forward.
Look, Barack, he's sending his goons to attack us again. How can you side with him?
Let's not rewrite history, Donald. Tell me, Agent Obama, were you ever attacked, or did you and your companions deal the first blow after waking in a secured observation room? My staff were following protocol.
The doctor raises a hand as one of the approaching orderlies halts upon stepping into the candlelight, his face ghastly, almost corpse-like in its pallor, with sunken eyes and surgical scarring. The sight is disturbing, but he does not speak. He merely stands, still and obedient.
It's easy, isn't it, to hate what you don't understand, to assign malice to a face that unsettles you, and from you no less. Was it easy to join the Bureau as a colored man, Mr. Obama? Have you never felt the burden of being judged on your appearance? I applaud you. Many of your people are not so lucky.
His words land heavy in the room.
Donald, he's right. We've been deluding ourselves and you need help.
You traitor! You and Michelle can forget about coming to Barron's birthday party.
Enough of this. Mr. Trump, you are a danger to yourself and to others. Your delusional certainty and fixations on occult triggers is more than disturbed. It is catalyzing those around you. Take him to the lower ward, room 7.
Two attendants continue their ominous approach and, seizing Donald by each arm, roughly haul him out into the hall towards the basement access door.
Damn you, Barack! Joe, save yourself. For once in your life, what you experienced was true. Get away from here and warn the professor. You've got it.
Donald's voice becomes a distant echo as he disappears into the corridor.
Ignore him, Joe. It's for your own good. Please see him back to the room. We'll continue observation in due time.
Another orderly gestures calmly for you to follow him.
I'll bide my time for now, Ben, but I'll think of some way to help old Trumpy Dumpy. I'll go with the attendant in the meantime.
Excellent. Now, Barack, I respect your discipline under pressure, but even the sharpest agents can become fatigued. And when I spoke to your colleagues on the phone, they expressed concern, suggested you may be overworked, advised you come in for a formal evaluation. I agree, that would be best. It's not a reprimand, it's a precaution, especially given your state since the disaster. Your leg still requires proper attention. I'll have you transferred to the recovery wing and see that you're discharged in the morning. What do you say?
I think that's best. But I want to talk to you about Donald before I leave here.
His expression darkens as he tersely dismisses you.
One matter at a time, Agent. Now good night, you two.
And with that, the three of you part ways and several hours pass, crawling like shadows through the lusterless halls of the asylum. We'll turn our attention to Barack first, wide awake in the most accommodating room you've encountered so far. Pale light filters through the lightly frosted window pane, casting long, indistinct shadows against the tiled floor. No bars, no locks, no restraints. Even a folded change of clothes has been provided to you, sitting neatly on a chair by your bed. From the hallway beyond, you can occasionally hear the soft shuffle of rubber soles, an orderly making rounds, passing by every 7 minutes or so by your estimation. What would you like to do now?
I don't know if I completely buy Peterson's act, Ben, but we weren't going to get anywhere under that kind of guard. I'm sorry to play it out that way, but seeing as Donald can't land a dice roll to save his life tonight, I figured I could count on a psychology failure to help make my character seem more willing to go along with the narrative. Sure, the doctor was convincing, but I've doubted Donald before and had to sit through 2 inaugurations in disbelief. Plus, I can't abandon the presidential gang.
Never doubted you for a second.
You're still dead to me, Obama. My character doesn't know that yet, and I'm rolling a brawling check the next time I lay eyes on you.
Enough. Ben, since a few hours have passed, I'm willing to bet Peterson's left his office. It looked like he had our personal effects in there. I don't know why he's so intent on keeping us here, but I'm willing to bet he's got a journal or something incriminating in there. He's linked to our search for the professor, and I want to know how. At the very least, I might find a way to get us out of here. I want to make a stealth roll to slip past the orderly. I should be able to remember the way to the office since I wasn't dragged off here or putting up a fight.
Not bad, Barack. I'll even say your clever ruse will give you a 20% bonus on your skill check, which will mean you'll need to beat 55.
Nice, that's a 24.
A hard success. You silently open, then relatch the door to your room, creeping past the nurse's station and ducking down a side hall just before one of the orderlies rounds the corner. Within minutes, you find yourself back at the door to Peterson's darkened office, the candles from earlier long burnt out.
Any chance the door is unlocked?
A quick twist of the knob deadens your hopes. The office is locked tight.
Don't worry, Barry. Now you can try out that lockpicking you missed out on earlier. It comes so natural to people like you.
Why did I ever make you my VP?
I feel you there, Barack. I was fortunate to get an upgrade my second time around.
Lucky you, but Joey's not wrong. I'll roll for lockpicking.
Fair enough. I'll have you roll for spot hidden first, as you don't have anything on your person to aid you in picking a lock. That will determine the difficulty of the skill roll to get past the door. Tough luck, Obama. That's a 65. 15 over your needed roll.
I can't go through that many luck points just getting in here. I want to take a chance with my straight-up lockpicking.
You'll need a hard success of 25.
Just barely, but that counts. A 23.
Excellent work. Years of fieldwork at the Bureau has taught you a good feel for getting past most locks, and the door proves no exception. Inspecting it, you find a mortise-style latch embedded deep in the wood. Noting the heavy steel bolt, manual turn, and frame that's seen its share of moisture over the years, you brace your shoulder against the door, hook your fingertips beneath the latch, and apply a slow, steady torque. A quiet pop escapes as the warped wood flexes just enough for the lock to give, and the door creaks open. Stepping inside, you find soft moonlight spilling through the window in silver streaks across the cluttered mess of items about the main desk.
That's where he was keeping my badge and the files from the train wreck. I want to search there first and take my badge back.
You rummage quickly but carefully, retrieving your badge from the Bureau to stow in your coat breast pocket while uncovering a dossier labeled Subjects, 1800 Stonehurst. Inside are police photographs of several individuals, and you immediately recognize Elizabeth Walcott, the Dragon's Talon gangster, and Desmond O'Connor, each marked with handwritten notes detailing their connections to your group. Indeed, most of his studying appears to be focused on the three of you, Donald receiving the most attention, with details on how to best isolate him and deal with you and Joe quietly. It would seem he is the primary target.
I always am.
Keep talking over Ben and I'll miss a detail that might save your character.
Like I was saying, Ben, quit stalling.
It's apparent the doctor studied you in your time unconscious in the cell and had his orderlies administering cocktails of scopolamine and morphine to maintain a light level of sedation and prime you all to talk in your sleep. Much of Donald's mutterings were noted as promising for the subject, with additional notes in the margin suggesting he may be another of Walker's pets.
What the hell? I suspected he had ulterior motives, but how could be no Professor Walker? We ended up here by chance. What else does it say?
It would seem some of this paperwork is missing. No doubt a high priority for the doctor, he could very well have taken it with him. Or you could try to search more of the office. Much of the remaining information to be gleaned consists of extra details on passengers from the Yellow King flyer.
I don't want to take too long here, but that makes me think. Can I take a closer look at the gangster's profile? I want to see his cause of death, maybe get his name.
You flip once more through the files, returning to the gangster, this time noting his identification. Kim Sung-min.
Doesn't mean much now, but it might come in handy once we reach Stonehurst. If we reach Stonehurst. What about how he died?
Tracing your fingers over the grainy black and white photo, the image and a written condition upon recovery match. The victim encountered massive cervical trauma and exsanguination via lateral throat rupture.
Lying bastard. Might as well go for broke. Is there anything to give me a clue as to what the Dragon's Talon is up to in Stonehurst?
Sliding the file gently back into the dossier folder, you notice something tucked beneath it. A small brass key nestled in the folder's seams, typical for small suitcase locks.
Or a briefcase. The guy had one on the train, even took it with him when he was fleeing from the creatures. Can I search around to see if the case is here? I'd bet Malia and Sasha's trust funds that that's what this key goes to.
Now that's an idea. I'd normally have you roll for spot hidden, but as you noted, the doctor seems to display his collection of items proudly. Obviously, he feels no threat from his terrorized patients or obedient enforcers and has not taken precautions to hide contraband. You quickly spot the gangster's briefcase, recognizing it right away next to a few books you guess may have belonged to Mrs. Walcott. Slipping the brass key into the insert, you hear a satisfying click and your suspicions are confirmed as the briefcase swings open.
Now we're getting somewhere. I want to examine the contents.
You unpack several false IDs, maps of Stonehurst, and blueprints of what appears to be a museum vault, as well as an opened envelope bearing a crimson wax seal stamped with a curved talon. The contents of the case have taken on water in the rainfall from Donald's spell, leaving only a few sentences of a letter within the envelope legible. Brother, we can't hold the docks much longer. Need you now. Secured below. Combination. Tools. Charges last resort. Tae-hun thinks it's real. Survival depends. Only unreadable smudges remain on the page.
Sounds like they were bringing this guy in for a heist or something. When he was babbling about demons, he said something about the others going early. Why would they start without him? And what would that have to do with demons? Maybe?
A sound from the hallway outside breaks your ruminations. There doesn't appear to be any movement beyond the door, but you're reminded that anyone passing will notice the additional warping to the frame from your entry.
Damn, I can't dwell on this right now. Ben, can I find anything to help Donald and Joe? A ring of keys or a floor plan? Hell, anything I could use as a weapon would be a start.
Roll for spot hidden.
Sweet, that's a 39.
Searching through the desk drawers, you happen upon a rusted keyring tucked behind sheafs of aged anatomy diagrams and a small leather-bound notebook labeled Subject Jones Study. Among the ring's myriad of keys are one clearly labeled L Ward and several numbered behind it.
Well, that's Trump taken care of. Now let's see about...
The door opens violently behind you, footsteps echoing against linoleum seconds too late to detect. You turn to see Dr. Peterson standing in the doorway, arms folded. One of the hulking orderlies from earlier looms behind like an eerie shadow.
Oh, Barack, for a moment I thought you were smarter than this. Instead, I find our hospitality wasted with an empty room.
Damn, I should have done up the sheets, made it look like I was asleep.
I offered salvation, but I'll settle for utility. Seize him. Let us hope the Bureau won't miss their lost boy. It matters little if they do. Nothing can stop what is to come. Only the seekers may walk the path. Only the blessed may heed the call.
The orderly begins his advance, methodical steps drawing him closer and closer.
Ben, I want to hold my ground and try to topple the bookshelf by the desk onto this goon when he gets close enough.
You'll need to pass a throw check. The loaded nature of the sturdy shelf will make this a difficult task, requiring a hard success of 20.
63, crap.
You lunge for the shelf, shoving hard as the brute approaches. But your angle is off. The shelf rocks precariously, then topples in your direction, the edge almost slamming into your injured leg. Narrowly dodging the crushing weight, you leave yourself open for attack.
Well, that's just great.
The orderly seizes the opportunity, grabbing you before you recover and pressing a meaty knee into your already wounded leg. He'll make a fighting roll his turn, needing less than 35 to take you down completely in your condition. 18, just shy of a hard success, but enough to incapacitate you. The impact of the man's knee deals 2 points of damage as pain blossoms in your leg, jagged and hot before your body is pinned to the cold linoleum floor.
You may be useful after all. To the lower ward with him. Once we are finished with the subject, prep him for the change. In room 8, I think. Donald will want to be reacquainted with his friend, I'm sure.
The hallway swims by in flickering shadow and sterile white as the orderly drags you off, your feet scraping tile. Now let's go over to Joe. Return to the same cell-like room from earlier following your diagnosis from the doctor. Although it's clear Peterson does not consider you dangerous enough to resedate, the door to this room has been firmly locked once more, trapping you for several hours of pacing, with only the movement of shadows and the flicker of the room's faint light bulb to keep you company as the hours pass. Resting your hands by the window, you peer through the cracked iron-barred glass into the cooling night air. Suddenly, you hear rustling in the bushes close to the tree line on the far side of the courtyard. What would you like to do?
Can I roll for spot hidden? Try and make out what's back there?
By all means.
I'm tired.
What a surprise.
Let me finish, Lardo. I was saying I'm tired of these dice not going our way. I'm only 5 points above the 45 I need for a success. Time to spend some luck points, Ben.
You can do that, although it's a good time to remind you guys that anytime you use luck to pass a skill check, that skill cannot be considered for upgrades next chapter. Do you still want to spend those luck points?
Luck's done me just fine keeping Hunter out of prison. I'm sure it'll treat me right in this game, too.
Very well. Peering out in the darkness, you can just make out a figure emerging from the overgrowth. An older, balding man, hunched in a dressy garb, ill-suited for crawling through the woods, moving cautiously within eyesight of your window. It is clear he is glancing directly at you as he begins silently waving, trying to get your attention without drawing any from Graham's officers patrolling the grounds closer to the asylum walls.
I almost forgot. Do I see any guards immediately around our wing of the building?
Looking about, you note one officer standing immediately below your window and another to your right, pacing about 40 feet out, facing towards the front gate. Neither appear to have seen the man. For now, at least.
I can't very well call out to this guy without getting him caught. Or worse. Can I roll to distract the guards? Maybe call out like one of us is escaping out the front?
Not a bad plan if you can pull off a fast talk check less than 50.
That's 47.
Great number, Joey. The best number you could have rolled.
You call out, alerting both policemen who jerk in place, startled at your outburst.
Hurry, Donald. You're so close to escaping. Just a little further past the gate. Pretend it's a campaign against Kamala instead of me. Then you might actually get to where you want.
Piss off!
The officer to your right beckons to the one below you. Come on. Graham will have our heads if any of them get away. The two bolt from their posts, investigating the possibility of an escaped patient. A misty fog has begun to envelop the grounds in the twilight hours, obscuring their vision just enough to plant the seeds of doubt. Seizing the opportunity, the man wastes no time darting over the small courtyard wall into the clearing beneath your window, standing upright, plainly visible for the first time. He calls up in as quiet a voice that can still reach you.
I was told some survivors from the Yellow King Flyer crash were brought here, but I couldn't get past the front gate, not like a civilized person anyways. If this place is as nightmarish as I've heard, it can be more deadly than what you've been through. What is your name, sir?
I'm Joe Biden. Please, you gotta help me. I'm trapped here with some friends of mine.
Mr. Biden, I can't begin to tell you how happy I am to make your acquaintance. It should never have been this way. My name is Cheney, Richard Cheney, but my friends call me Dick. I've been searching for you for days on behalf of my master, Professor Walker.
Then that means you're the manservant we were supposed to meet on the train. Where were you? Do you have any idea of what's happened?
Believe it or not, I have some idea of the horrors. You see, I have served my master for many years, and trust me when I say I do not envy the nightmares you probably faced. You've had a stronger taste of the peril that moves against us than Walker had hoped. I was to see you safely to Stonehurst, but your enemies must have intercepted the professor's correspondence to you. I was delayed at the harbor, returning from travels abroad on behalf of my master, and I know now that was no accident. I was supposed to be with you on that train. You were never supposed to be alone in the cabin, and our enemies almost killed you for it. But you survived. This fact alone proves my master was right about you, fortunately.
Well, considering where we are, I don't feel very fortunate.
Cheney glances quickly to make sure he has not alerted any police presence.
I have only heard local rumors about this place and its cruel wardens. I swear on my master, I will do all in my power to free you.
He unslings a small leather satchel from beneath his coat. He cracks it open just enough for you to glimpse a few of the contents. A revolver, a small wad of cash, and an unusually decorative iron-wrought key.
I've procured a car, parked not far beyond the gates to deliver you to freedom. In my days searching for your whereabouts, I also acquired some tools to assist you. Not exactly the accoutrements of polite society, but I believe they are just the things for the peril you face. I swear I will get you free from this place, and then I can only beg you to continue with me to see my master. You truly are the only ones that can help him.
Let's get the others first and get out of here. Then we'll talk.
Mr. Trump, Agent Obama, they're not with you?
They've taken Donald to some type of lower level, and Barack, he might be more lost than all of us.
You know I'm still on your side.
He might suspect, but neither of them can know for certain. Deceiving your fellow investigators can certainly give you a leg up, but don't take your friendship outside the game as sacrosanct for your characters. They should still behave appropriately for their roles.
Oh, we will, Benny. I hope Barack's deceased chef never served him a knuckle sandwich in Martha's Vineyard before. I'd like to introduce him to the dish myself.
Charming, Donald. Getting back to the professor's manservant, you can see the man, thinking twice of tossing the satchel up to you, given the height of the window and protective bars.
I can't get it up to you without alerting the guards.
Damn. Ben, you said the window was partially smashed. Are there any sections big enough to break off a shard for cutting up something? If I slice up some strips from the bedding off of the cots in the room, I can use my sea dog expertise to knot up a strong rope.
Clever thinking. I'll say you can spot a suitable shard, carefully separating it from the window pane, its knife-like edge making short work of the sheets in the room until you have enough sections to make a rope to reach the manservant. You will, however, need to pass a dexterity check of less than 32, according to your characteristics.
Kablamo, that's a 28, baby.
Tying the coarse sheet strips with practiced Navy knots, you lower your makeshift rope out the window. Cheney quickly fastens the satchel securely, giving 2 sharp tugs, signaling you to reel in the supplies.
We don't want more trouble than necessary. Try the key first. If the man I purchased it from is to be believed, it's a skeleton key that should work on most locks. If that won't work, there's money for bribery and a revolver as a last resort.
Hauling the satchel into your room, you waste no time unlatching its heavy brass buckles, examining the items inside. Towards the top, you look over a Webley Mark IV, its blackened steel frame dulled from years of use. Still, the cylinder spins smoothly, and it appears to be loaded with 6 shots. Tucking the revolver into your waistband, you also find your credit rating skill boosted by plus 10 points as you note a small billfold packed with well-worn banknotes totaling about $100. Among the more mundane items in the satchel, you retrieve a pocket torch and a pack of cigarettes. Lastly, you look over the skeleton key, inspecting the distinct cuts suitable for lever-tumbler warded locks, granting you a situational bonus to your locksmith checks so long as you have the key on hand.
Hot dog, hopefully this'll work on the padlock to the room, and being armed with money to burn, this must be the rush Hunter feels. If this doctor has any medicinal cocaine in this joint, we've got ourselves a party.
Cheney calls up to you once more, bringing you back to the seriousness of the situation.
The police will be back any moment, Mr. Biden. What can I do from out here?
Right, once I fetch Donald and Barack, we're gonna need a quick way out of this joint. How did you get here?
I managed to rent a Packard 23 Twin 6 touring model from a garage near the rail yard. Once I'd been turned away, I parked it just beyond the south edge of the courtyard wall behind the asylum. The closest I could manage without rousing suspicion was near a hut where the utilities run in.
Utilities, huh? What exactly did you see?
Well, there's a junction box mounted near a small brick shed. I saw what looked like ceramic insulators and feed lines running from a step-down transformer just off the back access lane. Nothing out of the ordinary. Looked like it fed knob and tube wiring, but I'm no electrician. Oh, and the water mains routed alongside it. Cast iron feed, probably original, branches off toward the west wing. Whole system's exposed just behind the perimeter hedges, probably for maintenance. Why?
I want you to head back there and cut the power. Try and find something in the shed to take out that box, and we'll leave them in the dark. Literally. That should make my sneaking easier, right, Ben?
I would allow a slight bonus, but if you want to use that pocket torch, you'll need hard successes to hide the light from searching eyes.
You're no fun, Shabibo. Come on, I took the APAC money like you wanted. Can't you cut me some slack?
Afraid not, Joe. Regardless, Cheney nods in understanding below you.
I'll sabotage the power feed and circle back outside the wall here to wait for you. I don't want to stick around that shed when they come looking to see what's going on.
Good thinking, Dick. Better get on it now and be careful of the guards. The faster we do this, the faster we escape.
With that, the professor's man vanishes into the fog, footsteps muffled against the damp grass.
I'm not sure I like that the professor's butler is so comfortable coloring outside the lines of the law. It's working for us now, but it makes me wonder what we're getting ourselves into. Oh well, let's give this key a try, Ben.
You approach your cell door once again, reaching through the viewing slot to find the same padlock from before, steadfastly secured. Inserting the key, you feel a faint resistance, followed by a smooth give as the tumblers yield. You then step into the hall, closing the door behind you as dim overhead lights present the familiar view of the other closed cell doors, and hear the familiar wailing, some frenzied, some escaping like soft whispers.
I know I should free these people, but they might end up giving me away or even attacking me. Better keep them locked up.
Takes you back to your crime bill from the 90s, doesn't it?
Yep, good times. Anyways, I'll head towards the same stairwell we went down before and sit tight until the power goes out before I roll for stealth.
You do just that, Joe. While you're waiting, let's cut down to Donald, confined in room 7 of the lower ward of 12 Edicts. Dragged here in a storm of shouting and resistance, you miss the finer details of the halls on your way down. What is certain is that the cell around you is narrow, the cracked walls stained with decades of damp seepage. Overhead, a dim electric bulb sputters in its fixture, casting erratic shadows that dance and stretch like grasping fingers across the cold stone floor. The unease of the night's events has ruled out your hopes of getting any rest. Instead, you've been pacing, attempting to formulate some plan of escape.
What are my options here, Ben? What all can I see in the room?
The Spartan cell offers little to aid in breaking free. The room has no furnishings outside a decrepit wooden bench, its surface splintered by years of neglect. The solid cell door in front of you is a monolith of steel, reinforced with thick iron rivets, with no viewing port or interior handle. You notice a sliver of a gap at the bottom of the door, just enough for a thin line of brighter light to seep into the cell from the corridor outside. With luck, you might be able to reach your fingers underneath, but nothing more.
Not an option, not with my massive, powerful hands. What about any windows or other egress points along the wall?
This cell is considerably more secure than your last, with no windows to the outside world. However, set high in the worn, discolored stone wall that separates your cell from the next is a small cutout straight through the thick masonry, not even wide enough to get your hand through.
Well, clearly this is where you're leading me, Ben. I'll look through the gap in the wall.
I'm not leading you anywhere, Donald. There are always several ways to conduct your investigations, but some approaches will be easier than others depending on how you play. In fact, it wasn't even guaranteed any of you would end up in the lower wards. There are several areas of the sanatorium you could have arrived at instead of this cell. As it is, the cutout is too high for you to reach on your own.
Can I drag the bench over and step up to get a view?
Roll for climbing. You'll need a hard success considering the poor condition of the bench.
That's probably because it's foreign made. Another manufacturing casualty, thanks to the likes of China-backed puppets like Biden.
Or because it can't withstand your diet of 12 Big Macs a day.
Those are some big words, Ben, in geriatrics.
Nobody's winning here, guys. You both eat horribly.
Not as bad as any given school kid under Michelle's hot lunch program.
Yeah, I remember the pictures of a typical plate. A stale roll and unseasoned broccoli. Not even a single scoop of chocolate chip. Say you guys want to grab some ice cream after this?
Make it McFlurries and I'm there. Now I'll need to beat a 30. Damn it, that does it. I want to spend 16 luck points to make that a success. There'd better be something good on the other side of this wall, Ben.
Let's find out. You can just make out the shape of another figure, sitting perfectly still in the neighboring cell. The overhead light in this room has been shattered, leaving the man obscured in shadow. Although he appears to be facing towards you, he offers no reaction as you come into view. Were it not for the subtle shifting of his clothes with each breath, you might swear the man was dead.
Hey buddy, you awake in there? I don't know if you can hear me, but I need your help. My name's Donald, and I'm being held against my will. I'm gonna bet that insane doctor's got you trapped down here too. I think we can work together to get out of here. What do you say?
The man's silhouette remains unmoving, his head slightly bowed, unresponsive in an unnatural stupor.
Real nice, Ben. I spend all these luck points just to find some comatose idiot who's sleepier than Joe.
Overhead, the lone light bulb fails suddenly, plunging the cell into total darkness.
Oh, perfect. Joe's screwing me over again, I see. That's probably the professor's manservant cutting the power to the sanatorium.
Your character wouldn't have any knowledge of that, Donald. The blackout lasts only for a breathless moment before flaring back to life with an angry glow. Shadows lurch across the walls and you find yourself taken back to the dreaded beach from your visions for only a few seconds. Still, the name Carcosa rips from your throat without conscious thought, your voice bounding off the walls in the narrow room.
Car.
The man in the neighboring cell jerks suddenly with ragged gasps, lurching forward towards the small bit of light emanating through the cutout in the wall. Getting a good look, it appears as though he has been trapped down here longer than anyone could survive. Whatever torment this man has been put through, he seems to have found something of his former self, his face twitching with half-formed thoughts as his hoarse voice calls out to you.
Carcosa, you've seen it. The black star is rising. Strange moons. The song of my soul. My voice is dead. Die though unsung as tears unshed shall dry and die in lost Carcosa.
What the? Look, let's slow down for a minute. Tell me who you are.
Alex, Jones, that's who I am.
Alex, AJ. So it was your journal that Peterson had in his office near the revelations of Tanakh.
His bewildered expression darkens.
You can't trust him. Can't trust them. Are you? No. You're not one of them, but you're here all the same, and now the Seekers won't let go, not without their prize.
You're talking about the doctor? Hey, that recording from the train mentioned Seekers and the path, but Peterson can't be one of them. It's a complete accident we're here. And even if he was, why go to all this effort to imprison us and not just try and kill us outright like on the train? I wonder, does it have anything to do with this vision I keep having? And what is Carcosa?
The man's eyes are beginning to glaze over, and you sense that he does not have many coherent thoughts left.
Crap, I need to get some answers out of this guy before I lose him.
Roll for fast talk.
What is happening right now? A 95?
Maybe you used up all your luck winning the presidency. Might be the only explanation for people wanting 4 more years of you.
Could be 4 more, could be 8 more. I'm having JD look over some options.
Well, you don't have any more options for this turn. Alex ignores your questions, becoming more and more frantic.
They're watching. The doctor doesn't treat us. He feeds them. Feeds the ones beyond the veil. Interdimensional parasites, demons that smell like sulfur. You don't know what's out there, man. Hidden elder god pedophiles creating a new world order. No hope left. Now we're alone. Alone to die.
Listen, I'm not alone. I ended up here with 2 others after we survived a train crash on our way to find a professor out of Stonehurst. He contacted us believing we'd had encounters with eldritch horrors, and it sounds like you have too. We can get you out of here, and he might be able to help you too if we work together.
He settles for a moment, a look of recognition coming to his face.
Walker, yes, he sent me.
Wait, what? You know Walker?
The professor, he was searching, maybe with you here, he hasn't forgotten after all. You see, I was to look for...
Both of you fall silent at once as the sound of approaching footsteps grows louder in the corridor outside your sealed cells. Shadows shift in the thin sliver of light beneath your doors, as Dr. Peterson's voice cuts through the air with a hint of grim satisfaction.
And I thought you'd be lonely down here, Donald. I can't begin to tell you how glad I am to hear you engaged in such lively conversation.
You can make out heavy footsteps catching up to the doctor outside your room, each step punctuated by a dull, rhythmic thud, as though something limp is being dragged along the floor. The muffled scuff of shoes, the labored breath of a struggling man, and low groans of pain follow shortly.
You secure the agent.
Barack, is that you out there?
Indeed, we've arrived at the moment where Obama, still captured by Jordan's ghoulish orderly, has been brought to join you in the gloom of the lower ward. He can hear your voice echoing from room 7 as he's forced into the cell across the hall.
Donald, are you okay?
I will be once I can get my hands on you, you backstabber.
You'll be pleased to hear that your friend's loyalty isn't so easily swayed. In fact, trying to set you free may be one of the last things he ever does with his own free will.
Barack is able to see the extent of the lower ward's security as he's shoved into room 8, a steel-faced control panel mounted to the far wall at the end of the corridor. Brass dials mark the numbers of each cell, and a row of heavy levers, each labeled in etched plaques, sits beneath them. Near the panel, another attendant stands watch, slowly manipulating the levers at Jordan's command.
But that will have to wait. Get Jones's door open now. We've neglected our most promising subject for far too long.
Alex's ragged breathing quickens and his voice begins to tremble.
Quickly, Donald, I must know, you mentioned the revelations. Can you read them? Can you speak them?
Well, yeah, but I don't have them on me.
You see Alex violently dart back into the darkness of his cell. Suddenly, you hear the coarse sounds of a trembling arm scraping hard against the stone wall, growing wet as the skin begins to break. You hear him whimper as blood drips onto the floor, and detect the faint sound of his fingers sketching shapes into the gritty surface of the wall opposite your division.
The lines must cross, the circle unbroken, the sign, the words, I can't anymore, won't come back if I do.
The door to Alex's cell flies open as piercing light flows into the dark room, followed immediately by the imposing orderly who seizes him and drags him screaming from the cell. He calls out one last intelligible statement before breaking down into shrieks of terror.
The wall! Look at the wall!
Quick, Ben, can I memorize what's on the wall before the door closes?
Still atop the bench, you catch a view of the bloody sigils Alex scrawled glowing wetly in the harsh illumination for only a few seconds. You'll need to pass a hard intelligence check to recall the twisting symbols and alien script that once again fall into darkness with the closing of the cell door. Sorry, Donald. Another failure with 78.
I swear, one more terrible roll like that, and I'm going to have my ICE agents work on deporting copies of this crappy game instead of illegals. That's what would really make this country great again.
Your eyes seize on the marks, but panic and the blinding glare make the symbols swim in your vision, slipping through your memory like water through your fingers. Alex's screams grow fainter as he is pulled to places unknown at the doctor's request, and Peterson's light chuckling can be heard just outside your door.
My sincerest thanks, Mr. Trump. I suspected our mutual friend still harbored fragments of lucidity after his last procedure, but until you arrived, I hadn't found the right catalyst.
Leave him alone, you bastard!
You see, I had hoped your exposure to that filthy book might awaken something familiar in him, something of the whispering gulches of reality that bind men like us together. If we are strong enough to survive them, that was enough. Now I can retrieve what remains, and in due time, we shall see what you can offer. Until then.
The corridor grows hushed once more as Peterson departs, leaving the two of you in the oppressive dreariness of your cells.
Are we still able to talk through our cell doors? We need to bring each other up to speed.
Faint groans rise from the building itself, low guttural sounds that ripple along ancient pipes and behind cracked plaster. It is a struggle, but the two of you are able to call out to one another, overcoming the restless bones of the asylum settling in the night. Barack, you reveal your ruse of feigning trust with the doctor and subsequent uncovering that Peterson not only knows everything about your group, but also suspects that you're tied to Professor Walker and his activities in Stonehurst. In turn, Donald, you fill in Barack on the doctor's trapped patient, also having an association with your mysterious professor.
Nice going, Obama. You managed to get free reign of Peterson's office and still barely learned anything more than I did trapped in this cell. Hope the treachery was worth it.
Look, I'm sorry, Donald.
Oh no, you're not gonna bail yourself out of this one like you did the automotive industry, and it didn't even help us. Now we're both trapped here.
And I'm the only one who dropped the ball here? Sounds like whatever symbol Alex left on the wall could help us, if only someone could land a single roll this whole chapter. Of course, if that same someone hadn't aggravated the doctor, we might not have even ended up down here.
You're right, an apology is owed. Ben, say you're sorry for giving me these rigged dice.
You know what? Just forget it. Ben, I want to search my cell to find anything that might help us. Loose stones, broken nails, maybe some forgotten tool.
Roll for spot hidden. Unfortunately, that's a failure with 61. Much like Alex's cell, the cracked bulb above you affords no light, leaving the room shrouded in near blackness. Despite your persistent groping along the walls, about the floor, and even across your own splintered bench, you cannot locate anything to bring you closer to freedom.
Damn. We might have to just hope that Joe can find some way to get us out.
I'll mark my character for death now. At least I've got some light so I don't have to keep passing sanity checks. Better to go out getting experimented on or sacrificed than going crazy.
Wait a minute. The light in your room. Ben, do I still have my badge from the office?
You do. We'll say because you were only caught trying to take Peterson's keys, you were not searched before being locked in the cell.
In that case, I want to slide my badge over to Donald's cell. You said there was a little clearance under these doors, right? If I can get it over to him, he should be able to reflect some light into the neighboring room with the polished metal.
Hey, that's not bad.
Not bad at all. If you can manage a throw roll to keep the badge from catching on the uneven stone floor, you'll need at least a 40.
That's what I'm talking about, a 28.
The golden glint of your bureau badge skitters beneath the doors and slides just far enough to stop in Donald's cell. He crouches, snatching it up, the dim cell bulb's unsteady light dancing across the brass emblem.
That's how you do it, Obunga. Now let's get some light in that room.
You maneuver the bureau ID, angling it so the reflection picks up the bloody scrawl left behind. The arcane geometries are now clearly visible, if a tad disturbing to behold.
Can I leverage my occult lore to see if I can read the sigils, or at minimum decipher how exactly they're supposed to help us?
You can with an occult check.
I'll need less than 50, and this is our last chance.
Not necessarily, Donnie. Barack's right. I could still rescue you guys.
Like I said, this is our last chance. Finally, that's a 45, just as great a roll as 47.
Drawing from your esoteric studies and limited exposure to the revelations of Tanakh, you deduce that the patterns of the sigils comprise a lesser invocation, a binding-turned-reversal spell. Although not a typical application of such incantations, a proper utterance of the words behind the glyph might release that which has been warded, or in your case, locked.
So it could unlock our doors?
Well, isn't that convenient, Ben? That's literally all the magic points I have left. I spend them and leave myself defenseless. Was that your plan?
You don't have to spend them, Donald. And I'll remind you that although you'd studied these works and can decipher what some of these symbols mean, you have not dedicated library use or history skill checks towards learning a list of spells. You don't know any off the top of your head to just use on command.
He's got a point, Donald.
Fine, take your damn points, Ben. I want to utter the spell twice, once at my door and again at room 8 to free Barack.
Very well. You carefully speak the words, each syllable descending deeper into the unknown. Twice the phrase, Kathak Navor, Ulnacha, Kathak, passes your lips. Your breath is taken from you each time, and you can feel energy draining with each articulation as the cell doors rumble slightly before their latches fly open, leaving you free to navigate the corridor.
Hang on. Couldn't you have just used one magic point and then opened my door at the control panel?
And after all the grief you gave me about using my auto pen for all my documents,
Can it, Joe?
I think we're seeing the start of Sleepy Donnie.
Say that one more time, Joe. Hunter's pardon only goes through 2024. Wanna bet he hasn't broken the law since then?
Ease up, Barack. That was a good use of those points.
Whatever, let's just get out of here.
You both step cautiously into the corridor. The air feels colder out here, more alive than the sullen dread of the cells. The noises you chalked up to the aged plumbing and old estate now seem much closer. Wet, stammering groans and sharp animalistic breaths echo beyond the other closed doors of the hallway.
What has he got locked up down here? It couldn't be any of the monsters from the train attack. I thought you banished all those.
I did. Whatever they've got locked up down here sounds more vicious than Biden's German shepherds, and I don't want to stick around to find out what that could be.
Agreed. Ben, do I remember the way I was dragged down here? We need to get back to Joe and try to rescue Alex.
Fortunately, the lower wards only stretch along a narrow path with the stairwell up to the main floor just beyond the door control panel. You and Donald quickly rush down the hall, the echo of your footsteps mixing with inhuman murmurs. As you near the stairwell, a faint voice whispers from the last room to your left.
Please, help me.
That sounded like Jordan?
It's a trick. Let's keep moving.
The voice calls out again, its owner trying to muster more strength.
He's not me. I beg of you.
Hold up, Donald. Ben, I want to stop by the control panel and throw the lever for the room with the voice.
You know what, Ben? I just now realized I still owe Barack a brawling check now that I've laid eyes on him again. And considering he's trying to get us killed doing something stupid, the timing couldn't be better.
For the last time, Donald, I was playing up a part. I'm sorry I doubted you. I know I've been slow to take in the things that are happening around us, but these horrors are beyond anything I've experienced. And I'm realizing the only way we'll stand against them is by working together, and I need you to trust me now. Whoever or whatever's behind that door will give us some answers about this place. Are you in?
You're right, Barack. Okay, I'm in. Ben, I want to brace myself for combat. I've got a bad feeling about what's in this room.
You prepare yourself at the entrance to the cell, fists clenched and ready for a fight as Barack nods and firmly throws the lever, triggering the mechanical whir of unlocking gears. The door to room 1 creaks open, revealing a gaunt man, half slumped against the back wall. You note the long-dried blood on the man's clothing, and yet despite his disheveled appearance, his countenance is all too familiar. It's Dr. Jordan Peterson.
Come on, Barack. Let's get our answers. I want to slowly approach this guy, but keep my guard up. I still think it's a trick.
The two of you crouch beside the battered form of this second Jordan Peterson, struggling to stand against the back wall of his cell. His eyes flutter open fully now, sunken, bloodshot, yet filled with a lucid clarity rare in this place.
You have no idea how long I've waited for someone. Please. That monster upstairs wears my face, but I am Dr. Jordan Peterson.
Ben, I want to believe him, but nothing about this place is what it seems. I want to roll a psychoanalysis check to see if he's telling the truth.
You'll need to beat 35. A 56. You peer into the man's eyes, searching for signs of delusion, coercion, or deceit. Although you cannot fathom what could be gained from this kind of trickery, you can't definitively say he's not an imposter.
What do you think, Donald?
We need more to work with.
I thought surely someone would have recognized by now that something was wrong. I'd have never run this institution this way. All my poor patients. Plus, I can only imagine the state he's left my room in. Probably needs a bloody good cleaning, I'd wager.
Yeah, I'll say it's him.
I think you're right. Doctor, we can help you. I'm Federal Agent Barack Obama, and this is my friend Mr. Trump. Can you tell us what's happening in this godforsaken place? How long have you been trapped down here?
It's hard to tell. More than a year, I'm sure of it. A whole damn year of watching my patients, my life, all end up twisted and used. It's damn well difficult to prevent others compelling my speech when someone steals your voice. Make no mistake, bucko. You see, I founded this place to treat others, to help others overcome their fears and get their lives together. All that changed after he came.
Who is that up there?
No, not him. I meant Alex. Mr. Jones came here from a town called Stonehurst. He was barely coherent, ranting about incomprehensible terrors in some fantastical lost city. Alex had been brought here in possession of a letter from a professor on his behalf and a princely sum of money. The details were vague, but it appeared this man, Walker, I think, was a friend of his, helping him escape something terrible. He'd sent Alex away for dedicated treatment of his hallucinations and night terrors. But the specialist who first examined Mr. Jones found himself at a loss. No injury to the head, no fever, physically sound, yet tormented by visions, waking terrors, and incessant mutterings of curtains torn through reality. The physician remembered me from a psychiatric symposium in Vienna several years prior. He'd heard my presentation on voluntary suffering and existential integration, a rather abstract application of Nietzsche's writings to what we now call trauma neurosis. I'd posited that through the willful confrontation of one's inner abyss, new neurological paths could be formed, shaping fear into resilience. He believed Alex's affliction could be best addressed through emergent methods in clinical psychology. So, he sent Jones to me with the professor's note and funds for long-term treatment. We made some progress in the initial months with isolated sessions, and then
a renewed wave of melancholy seems to befall the already weary-stricken doctor.
another man arrived. No medical history or any manner of prior files. I can't even remember the name he gave me now. If memory serves, it was never the same name twice. I tried to assign him to light observation at first, but every time I engaged with him, something, Everything felt wrong. Soon, it spread all over my beloved 12 edicts. At first, it was just the patients, restlessness. They'd whisper gibberish periodically before coming to their senses. I attributed it to proximity, contagion of the mind, a common enough phenomenon in confined quarters. But then, the staff began reporting their dreams. Bizarre things, black shorelines beneath twin moons, a tower of mirrors rising out of still, oily waters.
He pauses briefly. You can visibly see the toll of reliving these painful memories and their enormous weight.
Ben, with all due respect, you're being dramatic. You want visible, enormous weight? Try sharing a debate stage with Chris Christie.
Donald, now is not the time.
I don't blame him. Mockery is a natural defense. There is a time I might have laughed in the face of the darkness, until the darkness started to answer back. Some of my staff left without so much as a word. Others grew erratic, paranoid, until we were forced to confine them as patients, too. One nurse took her own life, gouging out her eyes and raving about the yellow light. Shortly thereafter, I discovered some of the orderlies tending to our mysterious patient without my orders. If only I hadn't blinded myself to the fact that they were already so beholden to his will instead of my own. He'd ascended to the top of our little dominance hierarchy like a bloody lobster, but I became too distracted by his obsession with Alex.
Didn't you say you were keeping him in isolation? How did the two of them meet?
That's just it. They never did. He'd make sketches of the same kind of glyphs Jones would draw. Then he started asking after him. Casually at first, but with increasing obsession and without me once mentioning Alex's name. Perhaps it was all the chaos around us. Maybe I was overtired. But it wasn't too long before I started noticing the changes. His posture, the words he used, the cadence of his voice. It was like a slow mutation. I ordered him quarantined and stopped our sessions cold. But it was too late. The very night I did that, our power failed and mass panic broke out across the sanatorium. I was dragged out of my office by men I had once called my friends and forced into this very cell. And I saw him. He had become me, down to where my own mother couldn't have told the difference.
There wasn't anyone left who could help you?
Not a soul. Everything changed after that. He took over the entire facility and, like my good name, transformed it, molded it into a thing of evil, all in pursuit of Alex.
But why?
Maybe Alex's visions are more than visions. I find my own reality slipping away, but perhaps his nightmares were more real than anyone could have imagined. You see, this false me tortured Alex, conducted all manner of injections, surgeries without purpose, and strange rituals, chanting to symbols scrawled in salt and blood, growing ever closer to, quote, tearing open the barrier to the path.
How do you know that?
He would tell me. It has become my lot to endure the company of monsters. He takes delight in taunting me, making me live with my every failure. Even when he's not here, their cries never cease.
His silent pause gives way to renewed bellowing from behind the other cell doors.
What are they?
Not what, Agent Who. Alex proved more resilient to my imposter's torture than planned. Eventually, his mind broke. Really a blessing for the poor soul. He's been frozen in a daze for months now, unspeaking, unmoving. I pray he's actually found some peace this way. The demon that wears my face decided to busy himself with other experiments until he got what he wanted from Alex. Started putting all those who were loyal, and some who weren't, through what he called the change. He imbued them with strength from unholy gods and chained them completely to his will. The mind-wiped orderlies serve him alone.
The monstrous cries crescendo once more.
He asked you what they were.
The failures, those who would not embrace the void, were warped completely beyond humanoid form, left to rot here in the dark. Another torment. With every new arrival, my door would be open to look upon the lost who would not turn against me. He feeds them, keeps them alive. Whatever unholy sacrifice or ritual reduces them to this, leaves them afraid of the light. It corrals them like rats in a maze. Down here, they're given just enough to keep them at bay.
He suddenly collapses, almost bursting into tears.
Enough. That's all I know. I once took such pride in this place. Now I only want to see it destroyed. We must stop him. I don't know what brought you here, but I'm sure you've witnessed enough to know what I say is true. You have that look about you. Will you help me?
You're damn right we will.
Then you can tell me the truth now. Did I really hear Alex a moment ago?
Yeah, Peterson, your impersonator just took him away.
The last bit of color drains from Jordan's face as he struggles to stand on his own 2 feet.
Then there's no time to lose.
You're not in any condition to move. Donald, can you support him while I lead the way out of here?
You got it, Barry.
Stepping over to the doctor, Donald eases him up, throwing Peterson's arm over his shoulders to support his weight as he begins to shuffle out of the cell, up the stairs to the main floor. Reaching the top of the stairwell, you encounter another locked door, separating you from the main atrium of the asylum.
Keep Peterson steady, Donald. I was able to get into his office earlier without my toolkit. It's worth trying that on the...
Without warning, the stairwell plunges into darkness as the lights both above you and in the corridor below fail simultaneously. You cannot even detect the thin trace of light coming from the gap under the doorway that you could have sworn was there a moment ago.
Great. Looks like someone's cut the power. Ben, would I encounter any penalties if I still want to try to pick the lock?
In a moment, Obama. The wrongness of the blackout clause at Donald's senses due to his phobia. Before any other rolls are made, I'll need another sanity check.
This is all Joe's fault.
You always say that.
I'll stop saying it when it stops being true. A 68. Obama, can I trade dice with you?
We're all using the same kind of dice.
Is that a yes?
Ha! No way. I'm having way too much fun watching you fail these rolls.
Ben, if I'm about to have a manic episode, can I at least attack the federal agent?
Quite the opposite, actually, as you lose 12 points of sanity. Your breath catches in your chest as you desperately try to blink away visions of the ceiling above you, tearing away to reveal towering figures stretching around the horizon, their impossibly vast forms obscured by veils of chitin and smoke. You slump forward, nearly collapsing under Peterson's weight, before sheer instinct snaps you back to the moment, though you find yourself temporarily incapacitated with fear.
Just perfect. Could this get any worse?
Dear God, the cell doors. Quickly, Agent, get us out of here.
What's happening?
The lever-operated doors. In the event of power loss, in case of fires, earthquakes, any type of emergency, the lower ward cell locks disengage.
You mean...
A slurred chorus of low, animalistic panting from lungs that have long abandoned humanity echoes in the blackness at the foot of the stairwell. The wet slap of flesh along stone and the scraping of nails against metal grows louder as several of the creatures appear at the threshold of your view below. Horrifying creatures with limbs bent at wrong angles, leaving some crawling and others painfully upright, begin a slow advance in your direction, releasing low, undulating hisses with every advancing step.
Ben, I'm picking this lock.
No, I'm afraid you're not. That's 79.
No, even if I blow through all my luck points, it's not enough.
Our luck's run out, Agent. We're done for.
With a foreboding sense of dread, we'll cut back to Joe, readying himself to move through the asylum's first floor now that his plan has worked, and Cheney has disabled the building's power hookup.
No time to waste, Ben. I want to roll for stealth to move as fast as I can through the hallways to try and find the lower ward door. I at least know that's where they took Donald. You mentioned I'd get a modifier from cutting the lights?
That's right, Joe. Normally, rushed movements while trying to remain silent would require you to roll against stealth or dexterity, whichever's lower. However, we'll say in this instance that you can roll against your stealth skill, needing only a 50 to successfully avoid detection.
Booyah, baby, and a hard success at that.
20, nice roll. You slip into the shadows, darting past Peterson's familiar office into unknown halls of scratched vacant rooms and decaying wallpaper. Two orderlies trying to make sense of the failing corridor lights, pale, silent, their sunken eyes scanning the gloom, fail to detect you as you dart behind a stationary medical cart, rendered immobile from two broken wheels. Letting the ghouls pass as they leave to discover the cause of the darkness, you press on, heart pounding in your throat until at last, you arrive at a wide atrium with multiple doors branching out in all directions. You have no idea which one leads to the lower wards.
I don't have time to examine them one by one. Are any of the doors marked?
Roll for spot hidden. That's 73. Unfortunately, the surrounding darkness leaves the information placards above the doors little more than smudges to your vision.
Screw it, my friend needs me. I want to use the pocket torch so I can spot the lower ward door before it's too late.
You withdraw the flashlight from your pocket, flicking on the illuminating beam as you make a sweep of the room. Through dust floating like ash in the cone of light, you spot stenciled signage above a door reading, Lower Ward Access, Authorized Personnel Only.
Bingo!
Who goes there? One of the orderlies down the corridor you came from barks in your direction, apparently spooked by the unexpected light. He bolts toward you, shouting threats in some guttural tongue.
Not good, not good. I'll rush over to the door and try the skeleton key. Is it the kind of lock where I can get an automatic success?
You're in luck, Joe. The key fits effortlessly, making short work of the tumblers, allowing you to throw the door open, revealing not only Donald, but Barack and Dr. Peterson.
What's going on? What the hell's he doing here?
No time to explain, Joe. Help me get these two out of here.
Am I still frozen in fear, Ben?
For just a few seconds more.
What's there to be afraid of?
Blood-curdling moans over Trump and Obama's shoulders spur you to glance at a sight you can barely comprehend. Mutated creatures vaguely resembling the Sanitorium's orderlies are closing in fast from the depths, charging at you almost as quickly as the approaching attendant.
Quick, Obama, I've got an idea. Tackle those two to the ground and get them out of harm's way and leave the rest to me.
I literally did the exact same thing to save you last chapter, Joe. First you steal my presidency, now you're stealing my moves?
Would you rather be left to the mutants?
Just do what you have to.
All right, Ben. I'll trust Joe with this one and try to haul Donald and Jordan out of the stairwell.
Considering it's not a terribly complicated dodge, I'm going to have you roll against your basic strength characteristic. It will take quite a bit of effort to get them clear of the charging monster.
41. I'll happily spend a luck point to make that a success.
You surge forward, grabbing Trump by the collar and half-hauling Peterson with your other hand, dragging both of them backward out of the stairwell to the atrium floor, shifting them just out of one of the beast's swinging, clawed grasp. No sooner do the three of you land than the charging orderly reaches you, Joe, brandishing an iron baton, gripped in shaking, veiny hands. I'll start with a fighting roll for him. That's a 76. The orderly telegraphs his blow, giving you ample time to duck under the wide swing, and a moment to plant your feet to stand at the ready.
I want to try to roll and see if I can use his momentum against him to toss him down the stairs. That should do some damage.
He speaks from experience.
You'll need less than 30 to use your throw skill.
He's in for a wallop. That's a 19.
With a practiced pivot, you seize his outstretched arm and shoulder, using his own forward attack against him, shifting your weight to give you just the leverage to hurl the much larger man off his feet, tumbling headlong toward the open stairwell. The orderly disappears from view with a surprised yelp that's instantly cut off by a cacophony of snarls and the unmistakable sound of tearing flesh. Though the shrieks of the monsters at the lead of the pack have been temporarily replaced by wet, gurgling crunches, the single orderly will provide only a moment's distraction before the rest come for you. What would you like to do?
Guys, follow me. I can get us to safety.
Ben, you'd better not tell me my character's still frozen in place.
No, Donald. Your mania has finally subsided with the adrenaline now flooding your system, enough for you to regain your focus.
About damn time. Joe, help me out with the doctor here. I want to roll for strength to get him up on his feet again so we can make a break for it. We'll move faster with two, and Barack's leg is still healing. This is our best opportunity to escape, and I don't want to give Ben the chance to get us all killed thanks to a movement penalty or some other BS.
Donald, I have been an incredibly fair keeper of arcane lore. Like just now, I would say we can waive the strength check given your cumulative score between the two of you in trying to lift the frail doctor. He would barely slow the two of you down should you attempt to flee the sanatorium. You see? Any penalties or unusual circumstances you guys encounter are carefully reviewed with facts and logic, informed by a Judeo-Christian worldview that—
Yeah. Some other time, Benny boy. Now let's get moving.
Hang on, Joe. Can you toss me that revolver you've got there? Between the orderlies and these creatures, we'll need all the cover we can get, and my background gives me a higher firearms stat even without the bonus at the beginning of the session.
Oh, good thinking, Barry. Ben, I want to pass my Webley over to Obama. Not gonna lie, I forgot I had it.
Kind of like how you forgot to make sure Ukraine actually got the billions of dollars you signed away.
Shouldn't matter now, the war's over. You ended it on day one back in office, right? You said you would.
Damn, Joe, doesn't look like you need a gun to pack heat.
And don't you forget it. Now time to finish the job. I want to start leading the way back through the asylum corridors towards the eastern wing of the building. I hope the professor's manservant is still waiting for us, or this is going to be a short trip.
With your group reunited, you begin your trek out of the atrium. Joe and Donald steadying the true Dr. Peterson as Barack falls slightly to your rear, revolver raised, sweeping corners on your approach towards the eastern wing of the building. Behind you, the sanctuary of silence collapses into pure pandemonium. The mutated creatures from the lower ward are no longer confined to the basement, roaming the halls and corridors with abandon, their twisted howls reverberating through the walls like the baying of hellhounds. In the distance, you can make out the asylum's orderlies scrambling to mount a defense, shouting over each other only to be followed by the sounds of bodies colliding in frenzied violence. Whistles, shrill and panicked, begin to blast from outside the complex as the guards stationed around become alerted to the destruction within. Sporadic gunfire begins, growing more and more frequent with your suppositions that the police have begun to enter the asylum as well.
Have we been spotted yet?
You are not being directly pursued yet. However, the chaos around you grows more and more unbearable with each dreaded step through the asylum. If you continue your current pace, I'll have you all roll sanity checks against the toll of the carnage on your minds, or dexterity checks if you choose to focus on running through these halls of madness. Which would you like?
I say dexterity. Even our lowest scores there give us better options than the effects of sanity loss.
Won't get an argument from me.
Ditto, I've had enough sanity checks for the rest of the playthrough.
Dexterity it is.
Do I need to roll too?
I won't have you roll unless Joe or Donald fail theirs. Excellent, gentlemen. That's 26 for Obama, 38 for Donald, and a hard success of 10 for Joe. You are all able to steel yourselves against the flashes of the chaos as you sprint past corridor intersections. One orderly is dragged screaming into the shadows by a creature with arms stretching more like tentacles, its torso slick with gore. Another, bloodied but unbowed, beats one of the beasts back with his baton, only to be blindsided by a second monster, its terrible jaws clamping down on his shoulder. After what feels like a lifetime, you emerge from a winding hall into a cluttered foyer on the sanatorium's far side. Joe's directions leading you to a door labeled Courtyard Access.
We made it.
Not so fast. As your group approaches the door, you hear the heavy stomp of boots just beyond until suddenly it bursts open, with 2 armed officers barreling in.
You're up, Barack. Hope you haven't lost that pinpoint drone strike aim of yours.
You remember I'm a federal agent, right? I'm not about to just start blasting away at cops. Besides, we know their boss is crooked, but these guys haven't done anything that would provoke us to kill them. Can we make a stealth check to spot somewhere to hide at the last minute?
I'll allow it, but it will depend on all 4 of you passing rolls this time. How interesting. This time, Donald and Jordan had the only successes with 39 and 42 respectively. Joe's 10 points over at 40, and Barack's at 23 over 50.
It's one thing fighting monsters, but another getting into a shootout with innocent people. Ben, I'll spend the luck points to turn that into a success.
I'll do the same.
Very well. You quickly duck behind an assortment of scattered cabinets and overturned gurneys just to your right outside an overfull storage closet. The officers charge past, oblivious to your presence, calling out for others who might already be inside as they disappear deeper into the chaos behind you. Your group seizes the moment, breaking your cover to dash through the open doorway, the cool night air of the courtyard, a breath of freedom on your faces.
Thank goodness. I didn't have time to tell you guys earlier, but the professor's manservant's out here. Dick, where are you?
Gazing out across the empty courtyard, you cannot spot any trace of Cheney.
Old dementia, Joe. At it again. You sure you told him to meet you back here?
He's out here somewhere. I know it. That must be him, hissing with joy to see us.
The snarling hisses grow louder as your group turns to behold a lone creature, spindly and hunched, emerging from the shadows of the doorway, its slick musculature glistening under the moonlight. It bounds for the 4 of you, jaws distending in anticipation.
Stand back, guys. I want to steady my aim and fire at the mutant. It's not a conjured monster like last time, so I'm hoping a decent shot will stop it.
Go ahead for firearms. A success with 46. The courtyard rings with a crack as your shot connects with the creature, dealing 10 points of damage, depleting the creature's health. The round tears through the beast's side just beneath its twisting ribcage, punching through organs and impacting still human vertebrae, downing the thing instantly as it skids lifeless across the ground before you. However, this is also the closest you've come to one of the mutated patients yet. You'll need to roll for sanity as the cold glow of the moon affords you your first clear sight of the now mangled monster.
Looks like I'll need to beat 57.
What are the odds? A sanity point for every state you visited, right, Barack?
It was a slip-up, mister. I watched the police and firemen at the World Trade Center on 7/11.
You two should practice your elocution. It's unbefitting for a world leader to trip over his words.
Joe, shut up. A 40, I'll take it.
Your nerves hold despite the horrifying sight. You see Jordan, some color at last returning to his face, limp over to the mutant bearing an expression of grief. With a shaking hand, he lays his coat over the misshapen form.
May you find peace now.
Shaken at your narrow escape, you suddenly detect the crunching of gravel and moonlit shadows of a figure rushing up behind you, brandishing an axe.
Ben, can I turn around and fire the Webley again? If I roll a combined initiative of half my dexterity and firearms, I should be able to engage him in combat before he's on us.
The man calls out.
The door! Get the door!
Wait, Barry, that's the professor's man.
Turning to face your would-be attacker, you can make out Cheney, coat flaring behind him, axe in one hand as he frantically points towards the asylum exit, passing your group. Glancing back, you see more writhing shapes making their way towards the threshold.
Unless he's got more weapons, this won't be easy.
No! Close the door and clear the way!
Ben, can I roll to sprint and reach the door?
I'll need a dexterity check. A 4, that's a critical success.
I mean, great for us, but no way Joe could sprint more than a foot without collapsing.
Why do you think Jen Psaki used to say she could barely keep up with me?
Joe, you launch yourself forward, overtaking Cheney, and reach the door, pulling it closed just before the nearest brute is upon you, smashing hard into the other side, jarring you back. Cheney arrives seconds later, slamming his shoulder into the door. He drops to one knee, planting his foot against the base, driving the axe blade first into the seam between the door and the frame. The weapon wedges diagonally, bracing against both the door's edge and the heavy exterior stonework, forming a crude but effective brace, preventing it from being pulled open. Backing away from the door, you hear the creatures pivot and retreat deeper into the dreaded place as Cheney nods toward the axe.
I thought it might come in handy for more than sabotaging the power. I feared the worst when I heard that coming from inside.
Howls continue inside. However, for the first time since the chaos erupted, they seem to be growing more distant. Backing away, you all find yourselves with a moment's respite in the courtyard, standing in uneasy silence, each of you hunched and heaving from the effort of surviving. After several minutes, all noise from within the 12 edicts fades away. No more howls, gunfire, or panicked shouts of policemen and orderlies, all replaced with a deathly stillness so complete, it feels unnatural, like a heavy lid drawn over a crypt.
I'm glad to see you're all safe. I know you must have questions, but first answer me this. What sort of devilry has been unleashed here?
I think we could all use some answers. Ben, can we see any more guards around?
No patrols have passed since you fled to the courtyard. So far, the only thing to greet you has been the cold winds passing through the dying trees around you.
In that case, let's take a few moments for introductions and getting caught up since we have a moment of safety.
Good idea. Neither Brock or I have met this manservant yet, and Joe needs clued in on everything about the real Peterson.
You all convene in the safety of the courtyard, at last bringing your group to a full understanding of the night's events.
Incredible. My master will want to hear of this right away.
Your master's going to have some explaining to do. I know you were delayed, but even if you were on that train with us, could you have kept us safe from superhuman monsters that can derail a locomotive?
You must understand, we never thought they'd resort to using such power so soon.
They? Who are they? Just how powerful is this Stonehurst cult?
Yeah, and how is it that we end up here of all places where a friend of your master is being experimented on by some kind of shapeshifter?
Gentlemen, please. I know you're upset and that you're owed answers, but
He glances over at Dr. Peterson.
I'm not sure that this is the best place to answer them. Believe me when I say that everything happening in this place is by the hand of some force unknown to me or the professor. Please continue with me to meet him. He will explain everything that he can, and he will help you. And if after everything you wish to part ways, he will not stop you. As for you, Dr. Peterson, I'm sure my master could...
I'm sorry, Mr. Cheney. I'm not going anywhere with you. My duty is to my patients, and I have unfinished business here. It bloody well ends tonight.
Are you crazy? Come on, man, look at you. You can barely stand.
I'm not even going to say anything, Joe. You make it too easy at this point.
Biden's right. You can't be thinking of going back in there.
I must. I have no illusions about getting my life back. I'd never be able to explain what has happened here, with the police, the missing persons, but it sounds like there are some still alive on the second floor. And then there's Alex.
We don't know who could be left in there at this point. Everything's gone quiet. And as much as I hate to admit it, Alex may have gotten caught up in the slaughter.
I doubt it. If my double really wanted to continue his sick experiments, he would have taken Alex to the surgical ward, my own private laboratory. It was under renovation for neurosurgical use when I was ousted. We had the room soundproofed and brick-lined. Its power even runs from a backup generator on the grounds for uninterrupted procedures, should we have to operate for physical causes of afflictions. My villainous double may not even be aware of the collapse around him. That room is completely isolated by design. If there's any chance Alex is alive, any chance at all, that's where he'll be. And I had hoped that you three would stand by my side after tonight's events.
Doctor, I'm sorry, but timing is precious. I must get these gentlemen to Stonehurst. If there are others with powers like that monster in there who have taken an interest in my master, then he must be warned. You three must come with me.
I know full well what I am asking of the three of you, especially after all you've already done for me. And there is little I can offer in return, except a chance to root out this evil. And maybe something more personal for you, Mr. Trump.
Me?
A treatment, a variant of rapid hypnotherapy I developed for veterans from the Great War in the throes of dream terrors. Having witnessed your episode in the darkness, I could cure your phobia if you would help me.
If I may interject, Agent Obama, we also owe a duty to the people of Stonehurst. I couldn't help but overhear your findings on the Dragon's Talon's activities. They're a ruthless gang, brutal, erratic, and becoming more dangerous with each passing week. Rumor has it their leader has grown increasingly paranoid, spooked by the strange occurrences happening around town. Some say he's desperate, grasping for any means to protect his power from forces he doesn't understand. And if they're planning a heist, it has nothing to do with wealth, I assure you. The Stonehurst Museum of Natural History has no great hidden treasures. It houses historical artifacts, mostly relics, and curiosities. If they're targeting it, they undoubtedly have something sinister in mind, and innocent people may be killed. There's not a moment to lose.
Listen, Dick, I told you we would talk it over. And Mr. Peterson, we'll give you the same consideration. Let's step away to the side for a moment.
The three of you retreat under the cover of a tree at the far end of the courtyard near the outer perimeter wall, leaving Peterson and Cheney still standing guard at the brace door. This marks a significant branching moment in the story, so choose your path forward wisely, as this will have major ramifications on your investigation. Each avenue will have its own perils to face, and possible rewards should you succeed. What do you guys want to do?
I say we take a vote. No chance of a tie with there being three of us. And no chance of any mail-in shenanigans to make Joey the winner either. Besides, I'm sure you'll both agree that this is a no-brainer. We stay and help rescue Alex. As if curing my phobia of the dark wasn't enough. That doctor's earned some payback for what he's done to us, and to all the people in this infernal place.
That's just it, though. The people. Like it or not, most of them have become monsters or servants for that mad doctor. We haven't heard anything in a while, but we don't know who's left after the attack subsided. This place could still be filled with vicious creatures, or mind-wiped hulks that will just capture us again or kill us outright for making too much trouble. Ben, how many shots do I have left in the revolver?
You've only spent one bullet taking down the creature that pursued you into the courtyard, leaving 5 more shots.
We're not exactly armed to the teeth here. And if this doctor can shapeshift, we don't know what else he might be capable of, if he's even human.
Barack, I know it must be hard to fight against your do-nothing Democrat nature, but you can't seriously be thinking of leaving.
Believe me, I want to help here, but getting ourselves killed won't do anything to deal with the cultists in Stonehurst.
Well, there's no guarantee that...
And I haven't even brought up the fact that a dangerous gang in town may be plotting to steal a supernatural artifact, something only we know about and might be able to stop. And we know the terror something like that could unleash, especially in the wrong hands.
You might be right, Barack. I feel bad for the doctor, but whether we like it or not, shadowy groups think we're connected to Walker, and I think they'll keep coming after us unless we stop them. Still, poor Alex. I wish Jill was here. She always leads me in the right direction when I get lost on stage.
Exactly. We've got to save Alex.
He's held out through what they did to him before. I don't say that to be callous. I mean that he might be able to hold out a while until help comes. It doesn't have to be us.
That's true. We could always phone some of your bureau contacts with a tip-off about this place. Maybe it would be better if we go.
Look, I hear you guys, but I can't keep dealing with this fear I've developed.
I know, Donald. I've made up my mind. We're staying.
And there it is, always outnumbered by the two of you when... What did you say?
I said we're staying. Although we should try and convince Jordan to wait out here with Dick. He's in no shape to go with us.
Hold on. You just laid out every reason why we should leave and even had me agreeing with a couple of them.
I did, but if you need this, Donnie, I'll back you up. We're in this together.
Here, here. It's all for one and one for all. It warms this captain's heart to know he's got a loyal crew. Now, come on. We've got a nutcase to save.
Captain? Joe, do you really think you're the party leader?
Of course I am. Right, Barry?
No time to lose, guys. Let's head back and let them know what we've decided.
The three of you step out from under the tree's shadow and make your way back to the others. Peterson and Cheney looking at you expectantly.
We'll help you find Alex, Doctor, but you need to stay here in your condition.
Nonsense. This is my dragon to slay. How could I face him again if I don't do everything I can to help him?
By being here for him, to treat him once we get him back. He's going to need it after what he's been through.
And by curing my phobia of the dark right now, so we have every advantage going in.
He eyes you hesitantly, still coming to terms with the idea of remaining behind. It's clear he'd intended the treatment to show gratitude for you returning Alex to him safely, not something he would undertake beforehand.
Always get paid up front, that's the art of the deal. Can I roll for fast talk to convince him?
You'll need less than 50.
Much better, that's 36.
Jordan slowly begins to nod, reconsidering your persuasive case as he guides you over to a patch of softer grass.
Take a seat, Mr. Trump, and we'll get started.
For the next 20 minutes, Barack, Joe, and Dick keep watch as Jordan guides Donald through a rapid hypnotherapy sequence of rhythmic speech and mnemonic conditioning, even as the moonlight fades in the wake of cloud cover. You feel a twisted part of your mind unraveling, a sense of normalcy returning to you as you open your eyes to the shadow-covered courtyard without issue. You are no longer afflicted by a phobia of darkness.
This should help, Donald. You may still experience fears, but they will not lead to the panic and strain you've experienced.
No sweat, Doc. I'm not afraid of anything.
Then release the Epstein files.
Didn't catch that, Barack. Anyways, let's get this over with.
Jordan thanks you all once more and relays instructions for reaching the surgical wing through the northern gallery corridors.
If there's nothing I can do to stop you from risking your lives over this, then I'll go with you too.
Dick, you should stay here with the doctor and keep an eye out for trouble. I know you don't want us going in there, but as soon as we rescue Alex, I swear we'll go with you to meet the professor.
Very well. I'll pray this isn't the last I see of you.
With that, the three of you approach the door to re-enter the 12 edicts, still wedged shut by the axe.
Ben, I want to dislodge the axe and pass it over to Joe.
With some effort, you are able to remove the axe and pass it over to Biden by its heavy, balanced grip.
You'd leave yourself defenseless just so I can have it?
Don't read too much into it, Joe. I plan on swiping a gun off of one of the fallen officers once we're inside, and I trust you a lot more with that than a pistol. Now, before we go inside, I want to... Thanks, guys. I know we'd probably be better off going to Stonehurst. I didn't want to tell you about the visions before, but I'm a little worried about this Carcosa business. And if Alex was seeing the same visions too, I don't want to end up like that.
We won't let that happen, Donnie.
Once this is over, we'll figure out a way to help. Maybe we'll ease off the grimoires until we meet this professor. He might have some ideas.
All right, let's do this, Ben.
You open the door, entering the sanatorium once more. Joe at the lead with his axe equipped, followed by Barack with his revolver drawn, and Donald close behind. Moving quickly through the unsettling silence of the corridors, you take in the signs of recent carnage everywhere. Shattered furniture, overturned gurneys, bloodstains trailing along the walls. Eventually, you begin to uncover bodies strewn about the halls and branching rooms like discarded husks. Orderlies ripped apart limb from limb, mutants riddled with bullets, and the shredded uniforms of fallen officers illustrate the slaughterhouse the 12 edicts has become.
I'm glad Peterson stayed behind. I don't think he could handle this.
I'm surprised we can. I thought for sure Ben would have us roll for sanity again.
While it's true the horrors on display before you would eat away at the minds of normal men, your knowledge of the truth behind these events and experiences with the terrible denizens of this place of madness have hardened your resolve. Enough that it would take a truly disturbing encounter to warrant another check.
See, normally you say things like that before something terrible happens to us. Can we see any signs of anyone or anything still alive that might attack us?
You don't immediately sense any danger, but the dark gloom of the building would make spotting anything difficult.
Guess I'll roll for spot hidden then.
Can I do that too, Ben?
As a rule, I don't want to let you guys double up on the same type of roles for investigating. It can lead to trying the same things over and over again. But there are other ways you could try to detect enemies. Would you want to roll a listening check?
I don't have dedicated points in that skill, but it's better than nothing.
What about if I roll spot hidden to try and find a weapon from one of the fallen officers or one of the orderlies' batons? I'm not really checking our surroundings for danger.
Fair enough, I'll allow it. Successes all around, except for Donald.
Here we go with this again.
You check several of the corpses about you, finding only a handful of police rifles shattered and broken beyond use even as a melee weapon. Any sidearms were either lost in the fighting or lie inaccessible underneath collapsed debris. And it would seem only a few orderlies, still in the early stages of their transformation, even carried truncheons, relying mostly on their unnatural strength. For now, you're left empty-handed. Barack and Joe, however, successfully rule out any nearby foes. The heavy silence remains unbroken. No footsteps or growls, just the occasional creak of settling ruin. If there are any survivors of the massacre, they are not anywhere nearby.
Then let's keep moving. Are we getting close to the surgical wing?
Hang on. Ben, since the coast is clear, how close are we to Peterson's office?
What you thinking, Donald?
That mad doctor had our things locked up in there. Obama had the gangster's gun when we were brought here. It's worth a shot to check, and if nothing else, get our inventory items back before we face our imposter. I'd feel a lot better having the revelations in our hands, magic points or not.
Trump's right, and I was this close to getting his keys earlier. Might as well grab those too if this laboratory we're headed to is that isolated. Hopefully the set I found were spares.
Yeah, my skeleton key only works lever tumbler locks. We'd be worse off than Kamala explaining Venn diagrams if there's something more secure. Let's get to that office.
And so, the three of you adjust course, heading toward the administrator's suite, taking each corner carefully, doing your best to remain focused in this mausoleum of butchery until arriving at Peterson's office. You find the door wide open, the frame cracked at the lock, splintered inward from someone having kicked it in with considerable force. Inside, amid the chaotic mess of tossed drawers and overturned chairs, you spot a figure slumped at the corner desk, his back to you, right hand trembling as he fumbles with a telephone mounted to the wall. He's suffered severe lacerations in the fighting, the strips of his own torn sleeve doing a poor job of bandaging his wounded arm, exposed bone visible in several locations. The old rotary dial slips beneath his blood-slicked fingers as he mutters hoarsely to himself. Took all my men to kill every last one of them. Gotta make this go away. McNulty can torch this place, make it look like arson. He suddenly senses your presence, his eyes widening in alarm. You've ruined everything, damn you! He raises a pistol in his other trembling arm, guaranteed to hit Joe at the front of your group.
Heavens to Betsy. Can I reach out and knock the gun away with my axe before he shoots?
Your dexterity scores are the same. I'll have you perform a contested roll. Lowest score takes initiative.
Ha! That's 14.
And a 35 for Graham. With a careful swing, you manage to connect the flat of the axe with his service pistol, wrenching the weapon from his hand, sending it clattering against the far wall. He lets out a pained grunt and collapses fully against the desk, clutching his arm. So close. I was so close. You were supposed to be my ticket out of here. Just a little more and I'd have had enough to go anywhere.
What the hell are you talking about?
The doctor wanted special cases, promised payment for delivering. The afflicted, he called them. He grimaces, reaching into his breast pocket to produce a coin, thick and oddly lopsided, its edge pitted with age. Across its face is a relief image, a looming, sea-worn idol of something half man, half fish, crowned with spines and barnacles, its arms stretched outward. The creature's bulging eyes seem to shimmer faintly in the unsteady light. Ugly bastard, huh? But dough is dough. John used to joke it was cursed. He drops the coin with a weak grunt and you watch it land on the tile, clinking before settling with its monstrous visage staring upward. Maybe he was right. Nothing. Nothing personal, understand? I didn't know, couldn't have known. He exhales one last rattling breath, slinking to the floor, his face bearing the regret of a soul bought too cheaply. And with his passing, the room falls silent.
Dibs on the coin, Ben.
Seriously, Donald? You're gonna pilfer the blood money he was offered to bring us here? And supposedly cursed gold at that? From a shape-shifting lunatic, no less?
The only curse would be not having any gold. Not that I expect a brokey like you to understand. Joe knows what I mean.
And how? Let's just say the big guy made out pretty good from some foreign energy payouts.
Actually, I meant the cash you got from Cheney in the game, but that works too.
Oops.
Plus, I'm not about to feel guilty after what he did to us. We wouldn't have even ended up here if he hadn't captured us after the train wreck. This is just like when Qatar gave me that 747 jetliner. Completely earned.
I'm not going to even address that last thing you said. Let's just pick up what we came here for. I only grabbed my badge earlier, but I'd imagine the rest of our things are somewhere around Peterson's desk, especially since he was studying us. While I'm at it, I want to grab the gangster's briefcase from where I found it nearby and take that with us. If we make it out of here, reviewing the Dragon's Talon's plans again should help us in Stonehurst. Come on, I'll show you guys where to look.
You guide Joe and Donald over to Peterson's mahogany desk and accompanying bookshelf, rifling through a clutter of confiscated items to reclaim your belongings and items of interest. Starting with default items for your investigator types, Barack retrieves a bureau-issued toolkit, replete with folding lockpick set, notepad, and forensic powder. Joe recovers a fading compass with a chipped brass housing, along with a weathered logbook of recent tides for Massachusetts coastal waters. Lastly, Donald regains a silver pocket watch etched with Masonic symbols and a palm-sized scrying glass wrapped in linen. Moving on to Barack's discovered items, you gather the gangster's briefcase and the brass key from the man's portfolio, unlocking the case quickly to verify that the blueprints and scribbled notes are still present before securing it once more. You also grab the rusted keyring from before, now taking special notice of the key marked surgical room. As for Donald, you reclaim the revelations of Tanakh, swearing you can almost feel the pages bound in the cracked hide pulse at your touch as you leave a gap in the shelf.
You know, I wonder, you mentioned other strange volumes that the doctor had on that shelf. Can I tell if any more are worth taking with my mythos knowledge?
You can with an occult check. An 85. Nothing about the title seems to stand out from among your recollections of arcane tomes.
Just grab a handful, Donald. The longer we take here, the sleepier I get. I mean, the worse things get for Alex. Desmond hinted that there might be a black market for stuff like this in Stonehurst. If nothing else, we can unload them there.
We should probably plan on that anyways. Remember, no more dabbling in spells until we get with Walker.
All right, Mom, I promise I'll behave. Ben, I want to take 4 nearby books off the shelf. That should leave me with enough room in my inventory for some weapons. I want to grab Graham's gun from where Joe knocked it away and keep it on me as a spare. It'll do in a pinch, but I'll bet the gangster's pistol packs more of a punch. Do I need to roll spot hidden to find it?
Not this time. With so many confiscated items already visible and Obama's earlier securing of the briefcase, your eyes quickly catch the gleam of the Colt pocket hammerless resting near an opened lockbox. You snatch up the pistol, equipping it in your right hand, and move over to retrieve the fallen officer's service weapon, storing it in your jacket pocket. Now, are you all finished in Peterson's office?
I think so. Did you guys catch what Graham said? Sounded like his officers killed every mutant from the lower wards and paid the price doing it. You think they all really took each other out?
Yes.
No.
No.
Me neither. And even if they did, we still don't know about the orderlies. Let's keep to the shadows as much as possible.
Your group slips back into the corridors of the 12 edicts, pressing on towards the surgical wing, nerves taut as you pass further remnants of the massacre. A stairwell slicked with black-red blood, a ruined gurney curled around a crushed officer's ribcage. Eventually, you come to a narrowing hall in the surgical wing, reaching 2 heavy steel-framed double doors, sealed with a lock recessed in a steel plate, its surface dulled with age but unmarred. Just outside the threshold, the scene before you gives you pause. Another poor mutated patient lies sprawled across the tiles, its warped arms still embedded in the throat of a newly deceased orderly, their deaths frozen in final hatred.
Maybe we really are the only ones left.
We'll find out soon enough. Ben, I want to use the key to open the door to the lab.
You produce the key recovered from Peterson's desk and insert it into the lock, turning it as the bolt slides free with a metallic groan. As the doors begin to creak open, the 3 of you ready yourselves instinctively, Joe hoisting the fire axe with both hands, Barack checking the hammer on the Webley, and Donald leveling the Colt, finger tightening on the trigger. The surgical ward yawns open before you, revealing cold steel tables and blood-slicked counters filling the room in a sterile, clinical chill. Overhead lights flicker with erratic voltage, fed from a generator outside. At the center of the room, an operating table looms beneath a bank of buzzing lamps. There, Alex lies unconscious, arms and legs strapped tight with leather restraints. A figure stands over him, hands extended upwards, rhythmically tracing shapes in the air, muttering in an inhuman tongue that seems to echo through your skull. The creaking of the laboratory door hinge breaks the figure's concentration as he halts suddenly, his shoulders straightening. He turns slowly, revealing a monstrous sight. The thing before you only barely resembles the man you saw before. What remains of his human features now pulse with uncertainty along gray and green scales that make up his skin, slick with a mucus sheen. One side of his jaw stretches downward unnaturally, revealing needle-like teeth too numerous to count. Gills throb along his neck, flaring open with each rasping breath.
My God!
I assure you, Mr. Trump, your God has no power here. I don't know how you all escaped, but I have no use for you now.
He gestures back to Alex on the table, clawed fingers held just above Joan's head.
I almost have my tether through the veil. A few moments more, and the path will be revealed.
Get away from him!
He laughs, his voice becoming more distorted with every word.
It does amaze me. Most people stumble about the world like demented children, blind to the truth of their existence. Some know and submit in darkness. Still others, like yourself, rage against powers you cannot understand. And occasionally, you prove quite difficult, like Mr. Jones here. Still, he cannot resist the Changer's influence forever. And in time, the Devourer beyond will come. I almost wish you could see it, but you might be a nuisance we cannot afford after all. Seize them!
His gills begin to twitch in the silence that follows, rage forming in his monstrous visage.
Orderlies, I said.
The words catch in his throat as he takes in the sight of one of his dead servants in the hall, fallen to the abomination from the basement.
What have you done?
You see his eyes narrow, membranes along his temple twitching as his head cocks slightly, as if listening for voices inaudible to the rest of you.
They're gone.
How could he know that?
Peterson said they obey his will. Maybe he has some type of a psychic link with them?
Not anymore. He's all alone now. Sounds like the patients he locked up in the basement finally got their revenge on his goons. Just goes to show how noble insurrections can be. Take January 6th, for example.
Enough, fool! You think I require the husks of this place? There were tools, playthings for my amusement by the will and the blessings of Ernathog.
Fury burns through his features, skin rippling until any trace of humanity left in his form is dispensed with.
Ernathog? So it's some dark god you serve that did this to you? Did this to all of them?
Silence! You dare defile the name of the Great Changer? I am no servant, Agent. The Deep One, the Bender of Souls, has chosen me alone to bear the power. That is why my minions could only withstand a fraction of the blessing, why they still dwell in the prisons of mortal flesh, something I have ascended above.
He begins to smirk unnervingly, momentarily lost in some dark recollection.
Although, you can thank your professor for setting me on this path, and I suppose I should thank him again, really. He's left me a fine selection of identities to choose from.
The scales of his skin begin to ripple suddenly as you see his muscles shift and hear the cracking of bones until his face begins to resemble Obama's.
Why, I could learn what the Bureau knows of our order, know their every move, every raid.
He shifts again, twisting in a hideous transformation that leaves him with a warped version of Donald's visage.
Or perhaps the Order might obtain a wealthy new benefactor. Such possibilities.
We've got to stop this guy. It was one thing with Jordan, but this is too much. Imagine how horrible it would be if someone could just use our likeness and voices however they wanted.
He won't get the chance to. I want to steady my revolver and open fire, taking care not to hit Alex.
Actually, Barack, given the cultist's superhuman traits, his higher dexterity score will give him initiative in combat, followed by yourself, Donald, and then Joe. The former doctor before you howls with a disturbing gurgle and reaches out terrible clawed hands, taking hold of trays littered with piercing surgical tools. With inhuman strength, he whips the trays towards the three of you with a successful throw check of 24. You find yourselves unable to dodge the blistering shower of bladed instruments, several leaving nasty cuts dealing 5 points of damage to Donald, 4 to Barack, and 3 to Joe as the tools bite deep across your arms and shoulders, crimson blooming beneath torn fabric.
I'll raise the Webley and try to steady my grip for a center mass shot.
Roll your firearm skill.
Donald, did you actually swap me your dice? That's a 93.
Your shot veers to the left, barely grazing the thing's left arm. He staggers briefly. Then, a sinister grin spreads across the monster's face as you notice the scaly skin beneath his now shredded coat sleeve smooth over with a liquid shift, removing any trace of injury almost instantly.
He can regenerate? How are we supposed to fight this guy?
Try actually landing a hit, Obama. Watch and learn. Ben, I want to aim this Colt and put one right between those fishy eyes.
I'm afraid I can't let you do that.
What? Why the hell not?
I already cautioned you guys once about keeping track of your inventory items. But if you've used an item in previous encounters, it will maintain the state you last left it in. For this case, Barack used the same pistol to defend himself from the conjured creature in the woods, leaving you an empty magazine.
Oh, wow. Obama being the cause of ammo shortages. Who could have guessed? Well, damn. Can I roll for a quick swap and use the service pistol instead?
If you had an item to facilitate that, like a holster, I might allow it. As it is, switching out the Colt for the other weapon tucked in your jacket will cost you your action turn, leaving Joe to follow up.
This isn't working, and we need to get Alex out of the line of fire. Ben, can I roll to swing my axe wide? Not to hit him, but get him to back off from Alex while Barack or Donald wheel him out of harm's way.
Normally, you'd only be allowed one major action per combat round. But since your goal isn't actually to land a strike, I'll let you have an additional free action to let one of your companions secure Alex, if you can pass a dexterity check to warn off the Peterson cultist.
Looky there, 32 exact.
Well done, Joey. You step in fast, gripping the axe like a felling hook, and sweep it laterally through the air. The blade whistles menacingly, cutting a threatening arc just inches from the mutated doctor's chest, enough to send him recoiling on instinct.
Quick, one of you grab Jones.
It had better be me. Obama smells too much like sulfur for his liking.
I'd forgotten he said that about me. Way to keep me motivated for this rescue attempt, Donald.
Trump rushes over, his hands darting to the edge of Alex's gurney, and with a swift tug, wheels the comatose man towards the relative safety of a back corner of the surgical room.
Pathetic. You only delay the inevitable.
With a sickening skitter, the Peterson thing launches himself sideways, limbs snapping to impossible angles as he embeds his claws in the room's walls, darting about with sickening speed like some monstrous insect. You suddenly find him descending from the ceiling above you, claws and teeth bared. He'll need a hard success of less than 20 to slash at each of you with a multi-attack. Doesn't look good, fellas. That's a 7. He tears across your backs, your sides, and your arms with hands like bone sides and razor teeth dealing. 2 points of damage to each of you as hot pain thunders through your muscles. Now be warned. Though none of the wounds are deep enough for any of you to bleed out, all of your characters are in critical condition.
We'll never make it through another combat round. We need something to take him down now in one shot.
There's always the option to use your turns to flee.
And let the cultists win? Damn it, Barack. Why did I let you talk me into staying here to help Alex?
Oh, excuse me, Donald. I thought our mad doctor here had earned some serious payback, according to you.
You should have known better than to waltz in here without any of my magic points. We knew this guy could change his form. He was bound to have other powers.
Hang on. Power. That gives me an idea. Jordan mentioned a generator outside. Can I roll an appraise check on where the power runs into this room?
Sure, I'll let you perform another action that would not require a skill check as well. Or that can be your whole action this turn.
I'd like another action, but can I save it till after Donald takes his turn?
Roll for appraise, and then you can do that.
So far so good, that's a 31 and I needed less than 40. Just how much juice do I think is running into this room?
You quickly spot the conduit snaking down the wall, running through the partially finished floor. Given the size of the line, rubber insulation, and the wall-mounted transformer, you'd be willing to bet the line runs to a 250-volt gas-powered generator outside.
That'd be enough to fry a man alive. Hopefully it'll do the same to whatever this guy's become. Can the line be severed?
It would take something forceful and sharp to cut through the shielding and metallic housing, not to mention extreme caution, as any break in that line will send electricity arcing in the immediate proximity.
What are you getting at, Barry?
The one shot we need, Joe. This is it. He's stronger than anything we've faced, and even if we manage to land some decent attacks, he's clearly got some modified defense against physical blows, or at least quick healing. But if we can electrocute him, that's got to pack a ton of extra damage, right, Ben? All we need is for Donald to lay down some fire and stagger him again, enough that I can take my non-skill action to shove him back towards that power line. After that, if Joe can land a throw check with his axe, it might just be enough to end this once and for all.
It's out there for sure. I suppose I'd be willing to add an elemental damage multiplier if you could pull something like that off. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Donald, Joe, is that how you want to use your combat turns?
It's the best chance we've got.
Of course it is. If Obama hadn't interrupted me, I was about to suggest the exact same plan. A big, beautiful plan. A classic trap and zap. That's what we call it. Now, if we're done wasting time, I want to roll a firearms check. Can I roll for a multi-shot with the service weapon?
You can, but you'll take a penalty die on each shot and have to declare how many rounds you're firing first. Since you're trying to stun the cultist, I'll check your firearms rolls against your target's dexterity resistance. In this case, you'll only be successful if at least one of your rolls is less than 40.
Well, considering we're pretty much goners, if this doesn't work, I want to fire every shot I have in this revolver. And Graham tried to shoot us with it, so I'd better not hear any more crap about being out of ammo.
Relax, Donald. We'll say you reflexively check the cylinder while retrieving the weapon from your coat, noting the revolver has 4 remaining shots.
Here goes. Damn it. Son of a... Doesn't count. I'm out here making it look easy. That's a 38 even with a penalty.
You unleash a volley of 38 rounds, the last of which catches the creature in the shoulder, sending him crashing to the tile, dealing 2 points of damage. With a guttural growl, the Peterson thing regains its footing, attention now drawn to the bubbling skin near the entry wound, his healing process already beginning.
It's now or never, Ben. I want to use my free action to drive him towards the conduit.
Normally, his stunned state would give you a bonus die for an attack, but I'll let you use that bonus to waive your throw check. You ram your shoulder into his midsection, forcing his feet to drag against the floor as you shove him, his clawed hand reaching out to grab the line for support.
Get ready to taste over 1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000 watts. I'll move to hurl the axe and sever that cable.
Although sturdy, your fire axe isn't really suitable for precision tosses. You'll need a hard success of 15 on your throw check.
Well, guys, it's been a fun game.
Hold up there, Cheeto Tan. It just so happens I have a special set of dice set aside for just such an occasion. I had Jill blow on them for luck before the game. Watch this.
Sorry, Joe, that's a 57.
I hate this game. Looks like I'm spending 43 luck points to make that a success.
That won't be easy. That'll only leave you with 3 in reserve. The fact is, luck points will become more crucial for more challenging obstacles later on in the playthrough.
Well, we choose truth over facts here, Ben.
I don't even... Fine, if that's how you want to play it. You sling the axe, watching it spin through the air before slicing through the insulated line in a burst of sparks. Blinding arcs of blue-white electricity explode from the bisected conduit, snapping outward, engulfing the nearby cultist. The thing lets out a wet screech, convulsing violently as his scales begin to crack and flake away, terrible energy flooding every portion of his wretched being. I don't need to have you roll for damage. The devastating attack lasts several seconds before the arcing power finally ceases. The lights above cut out as the inhuman cultist before you slumps to the ground, gills and monstrous limbs falling limp in a blackened, dead heap just visible in the dying glow of the power line.
You did it!
We all did it.
Great job, guys. That was some idea, Barack.
Thanks, Donald. But didn't you say it was your plan?
Well, sure, but I can appreciate when someone recognizes my genius so well that they agree with my plans before I've even made them.
Yeah, I'm just glad Alex was still... Wait, damn it, what about Alex?
You're right. Ben, I want to check on him. I think I've got the most points in medicine out of all of us.
Why would a fishing boat captain have advanced medical knowledge?
Not exactly a ton of doctors around in open water. Gotta be prepared for anything and everything.
More like your handlers have tried everything just to keep you upright. I might pick up all kinds of medical knowledge too if I'd had every drug on Earth pumped through my system at one point or another.
I don't think you'd have room for any after the gallons of Diet Coke. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to equip my pocket torch to get a better look.
The three of you rush over to Jones, still strapped to the gurney in the far corner of the lab. Joe sweeps the flashlight across his face, illuminating his pale features. His chest rises and falls at a steady rhythm. There's no sign of injury, no blood, or any external cutting. Yet his eyes remain closed despite some wakeful shoving on your part. You can't detect so much as a flicker of movement beneath the lids, as though his mind has truly been taken elsewhere. You'll need less than 60 on this medicine check to have any hope of deducing what's befallen him.
Tarnation, that's an 85.
That's a failure. Pressing your fingers to Alex's neck, you find his pulse, faint but regular. His breathing appears shallow but even. And a quick check opening his eyelids reveals his pupils to be unresponsive. You also notice a chill that seems to radiate off of him, despite the moderate temperature of the room. His skin is pale and clammy, extremities already beginning to show signs of what could be early rigor, despite no cardiac failure. The confounding symptoms are unlike anything you've experienced before, although you'd swear whatever is happening is not purely biological.
We need to get Jordan in here. I don't know what that thing did to him, but I'm afraid to move him in this state.
I'll head back outside and grab the doctor. If that fight hasn't drawn something's attention by now, we might be the only people alive in here. But you two should stay with Alex just in case.
Maybe not. There's still all the folks locked up near the room we were first brought to, and I passed them again when I broke out to find you guys. I couldn't afford to let them out then. I hope that might have kept them safe. We should check on them too.
You go on, Joe. I've got 4 shots left in the Webley should the worst happen. Plus, I can search this lab to try and find some supplies to patch us up in the meantime.
The next several minutes are a dreadful blur as Donald makes his way back through the desolate hallways of the asylum, retracing his steps to the exterior courtyard, finding Peterson and Cheney waiting anxiously.
What happened?
Their eyes are immediately drawn to the slashes and cuts you sustained during the fight.
Where are Joe and Barack?
They're both still inside. Your impersonator is dead, along with almost everyone else in there. Joe's checking on other possible survivors while Obama tends to Alex. He's in a bad way, Doc. When we got to the surgical wing, we interrupted some kind of ritual. He's not hurt, but we can't wake him up. You need to take a look at him.
Is it safe to go back in there?
For now, those things in the basement tore through everything. The mad doctor's orderlies, the police guard. Best as we can tell, they all did each other in. No way of telling who may have escaped, but I won't lie to you, Jordan. Your sanatorium's more of a mausoleum at this point.
The doctor looks past you for a moment, taking in the place, heart heavy at seeing his life's work reduced to ruin. Then, with a shaky breath, he seems to steady himself.
Alex is alive. Maybe others too. Right now, that's all that matters.
Jordan limps towards the entryway, a weary resolve to his every step. Cheney reaches out a hand to halt you from following momentarily,
Mr. Trump, I'll help you finish up here, but we should all leave this place as soon as possible, the doctor included. There's nothing left for him here, but his destiny lies apart from yours in Stonehurst.
I agree. I don't think he wants anything more to do with us. Probably even less so if he found out Walker has connections to the cultists that destroyed this place.
I don't know what you're talking about. Just because he was interested in my master doesn't mean a thing.
Your professor set me on this path. That's what that monster said.
He returns a skeptical glance.
I've grown accustomed to lies about my master from people who used to be his friends. I certainly wouldn't be willing to trust his enemies, and you shouldn't either.
Can I tell if he's lying?
That'll take a psychology check. 52, a regular success. Although brief, you did manage to detect a crack in the man's composure, noting the subtle widening of his eyes at your recounting of the cultist's words. Whatever the truth of Walker's involvement is, he's not willing to share it with you.
Well, Dick, I'll keep that in mind, and you can keep this in mind. Our destiny in Stonehurst will be decided by us, not by you, and not by your professor. Now, if you're going to help, let's get to it.
With that, the two of you enter the 12 Edicts, stepping quickly to catch up to Peterson. We'll cut back to you, Joe, returning to the patient quarters. The heavy wooden doors that once lined the corridor lay broken and cracked about the floor, the sturdy iron hinges holding them in place twisted from their housings by sheer force.
I've got a bad feeling about this. I want to call out and start walking down the hallway, peeking into the rooms with my pocket torch. Do I need to roll for spot hidden?
Only if you come across something that you think requires further inspection. Unfortunately, most rooms only reveal little traces of their former occupants. Deep gouges and blood streaks stain the walls, and all that remains is the ruined bedding left in each cell.
Damn, I knew I should have let these people out. And if I hadn't told Dick to cut the power, those creatures wouldn't have gotten to him.
You couldn't have known that was going to happen, Joe.
Yeah, for once, this isn't really your screw-up. You're not the one who kept them here in the first place, and you helped stop the guy who did.
Donald's right. He won't be able to do that to anyone anymore. So don't let it get to you too much.
Thanks, guys. Ben, I just want to head back to the surgical room and get out of here, and maybe take a nap. We've been at this for more than 2 hours.
Very well. You, Donald, Jordan, and Dick traverse the ruined corridors of the 12 Edicts, converging just outside the opened double doors to the lab, the smell of antiseptic and old blood seeping into the hallway. Inside, Obama kneels by the rusted supply cabinets not far from the comatose Alex, rifling through its drawers. In the wake of the cultist's transformation of the surgical room, most emergency medical supplies have been replaced with dark implements for unknown rituals. Crudely carved bone instruments, obsidian needles, and several tightly bound scrolls of hide inked with disturbing glyphs are but a few of the multitude of terrible items you discover.
He bandaged my leg earlier, probably to keep up the ruse that he was the legitimate Peterson. But still, that means there's got to be something left here.
You could roll spot hidden, or potentially first aid to try and utilize the supplies you have found in the cabinets for healing.
No way. I'd buy into Trump's crypto coin before I try to use this stuff. Better go for spot hidden.
A regular success with 32. Scouring the corner cabinet, you notice a metal drawer, slightly ajar, but untouched. Upon closer examination, you are able to spot a snapped scalpel blade, lodged between the drawer's rear lip and the cabinet wall, wedging it shut. Grabbing a pair of forceps fallen from the medical tray during the earlier fight, you are able to pull the blade loose, allowing the drawer to open with a metallic thunk. Inside is a small stash of proper medical provisions including gauze, rubbing alcohol, and antiseptic fluid. The rest of the group enters the lab as you move to retrieve the supplies, Jordan exchanging dejected glances in both your and Joe's direction.
Have you found any others?
I'm sorry, Doctor. It's best if you don't go up to the patient quarters. Not much different than what you've seen already.
His face tightens at the somber news, hardening further as his eyes linger on the fallen figure of his doppelganger. You see Cheney covering his nose with a handkerchief, attempting to mask the smell emanating from the blackened corpse.
Ugh, mercy me.
Jordan says nothing, instead drawing a slow, pained breath before moving over to Alex's gurney.
I'll need some time to examine him.
Ben, while Jordan tends to Alex, I want to pass out the healing supplies I recovered. It should be enough to at least pull us out of critical condition, right?
You'd need to each pass first aid skill checks. After that, you could recover up to half of your starting hit points depending on your treatment rolls. Recovering more would take a long rest or professional care.
Could Jordan do that for us?
Even if he wasn't already occupied, no. Physical damage can be treated by physicians or, in serious cases, surgeons.
Suppose someone doesn't have any points in that skill, like someone stuck with short-sighted companions that didn't bother to dedicate their own points to complement the party leader's skills.
No way you're the party leader.
Of course I am. Right, Barry?
So, what do we do if we don't have any first aid points?
Seeing as Joe doesn't have any points allocated there either, you'll all test against the base 30. That's a success for Barack, and for Joe. Unfortunately...
Don't even say it, Ben. Just keep going.
Fair enough. The Bureau agent and captain are able to heal. 2 and 3 points of damage, respectively, cleaning their wounds with care, applying the found gauze and antiseptic. Donald clumsily wraps some loose bandaging about the worst of his cuts, doing little apart from keeping them cleaner than they would be otherwise. You all finish just in time to see Jordan, brow furrowed as he turns back to face you.
I've seen patients in deep trauma, chemical fugues, and even knowing what I know now about the dark forces at play here, I can't explain what is happening. This is worse than the dissociative shock he displayed before. It's as though he's trapped, somewhere in his own mind, or someone else's.
So what do we do now?
There's nothing more I can do for him now. Not from here, but there is a clinic, just a few miles south of here. I know the woman who runs it. I can't say what's become of my reputation during this nightmare, but she owes me and can shelter us discreetly. I'll take him there and look after him myself until I can bring him back. There's got to be a way.
He turns abruptly, walking over to a rust-stained countertop on the far side of the lab. Brushing aside a cracked specimen tray, he rummages through a cluttered drawer until he finds a half-used notepad, a stub of a pencil, and a smaller third item, tucking the last away in his pocket. Wordlessly, he scribbles a few lines on the pad before tearing away a small piece, offering it to Cheney.
I've jotted down the name and the number you'll need. There should be a working phone in my office as well as a key for the ambulance by the entry gate. If you could relay the message I have written down here and meet the rest of us out front with that key, I will no longer keep these gentlemen from you.
Consider it done.
Peterson turns to face the rest of you as the professor's man departs.
I have one last favor to ask. I'll need the three of you to help me move Alex through the halls and get him loaded up outside where I can drive him to safety, to a place where our troubles will no longer plague the three of you. You've already done more than I could have asked for. I haven't even thanked you properly.
You don't have to.
He's right. We've all become involved in some grand, sinister plot.
And we're going to stop whoever's behind it, Jack.
It's Jordan, but you have my gratitude.
Together, you begin to maneuver Alex's gurney, flanking its sides to better guide the rattling wheels around fragments of debris and corpses, occupying the dark, ruined hallways. No words pass between you. Solemn minutes stretching by until your dismal journey comes to a close. Reaching the lobby, you can spot Cheney already waiting outside through the open doorway. A battered ambulance has been rolled forward, its rear doors opened for you. The professor's man steps aside, motioning toward the vehicle with a curt nod as the four of you carefully lift the gurney up into the back. Once inside, you see Jordan retrieve a set of heavy canvas straps, affixing Alex's bed to the side railings and floor hooks of the transport bay. The wheels lock into a brace, shifting slightly but otherwise secure for the short journey to the nearby clinic. Cheney approaches Jordan as he steps down from the vehicle, holding out a set of keys.
I made both calls just as you asked. Your acquaintance knows to expect you in a short while. The others will be here soon.
What others?
Jordan pauses as he reaches into his back pocket, withdrawing the small object taken from the surgical room. A worn metal lighter.
The fire department. There's only one thing now for the 12 edicts. A purging. Razing this place to its foundations is the only way to ensure the evil that has rooted itself here cannot take hold again, and maybe give some peace to the dead. Thanks to Mr. Cheney's call, they'll only arrive with enough time to control the blaze, prevent it from spreading to the nearby forest. But everything inside, the world will only know the tragedy, not the terror.
He walks slowly to the rear of the ambulance again, retrieving a half-full bottle of medical alcohol from a supply kit. He then moves to the front entryway of the 12 edicts one final time, dousing the wooden doorway with fluid, the scent mixing sharply with the lingering tang of blood and spent gunpowder. Flicking the lighter, you see the flame catch before he tosses the thing with a despondent breath. A burst of orange flame races across the doorway, licking up the columns and window panes with greedy hunger, before spreading quickly. Jordan watches silently, his expression somewhere between anguish and resolve. Then, without a word, he walks back toward the ambulance and climbs into the driver's seat, starting the engine.
We're indebted to you, gentlemen. I do not know if our paths will cross again, but what you have done here tonight, I believe fate will reward you. Goodbye.
With that, the ambulance creaks into gear, its tires grinding on gravel as it rolls through the open gate, disappearing slowly down the road. Dick leads the three of you through the open gate as well, turning to hug the perimeter wall until coming upon the Packard, parked in a grassy knoll.
Stonehurst is a few hours' drive away. I know the three of you did what you believed was right. Perhaps it was. Nevertheless, it will be morning by the time we reach Walker's estate after this delay. You all should try to rest a bit. I'm sure you'll need it for what lies ahead.
He opens the door to the spacious back seat, with ample room for the three of you. Are you ready to leave?
Yes,
You bet.
finally.
Let's do it.
The three of you climb in, the leather seats creaking beneath you as Cheney shuts your door with finality. The engine sputters, turns, and hums to life. As the car begins to pull away, you take one last glance at the sanatorium, a shrinking inferno in the rearview mirror as the road ahead of you begins to wind into the unknown mists. Destination, Stonehurst. And with that, we'll wrap up this session.
You're really gonna cut us off before we finally meet the professor?
It's a natural stopping point, Donald. Your characters can recover a bit on the drive, and we can do some skill upgrades when you arrive.
Which had better be soon, Ben. Waiting another year's not a great idea for these presidential playthroughs.
Yeah, Joe might not have a pulse by then.
Actually, I meant Donald probably won't be a president anymore by then, since he's bound to be impeached again. They say third time's the charm.
Ease off, you two. We'll have plenty of time to play together with the holidays coming up.
And time for more guests, too. Speaking of which, I want to thank Jordan and Dick for joining us this chapter, and give an especially big thanks to Alex. He came in at the last minute and had to improvise a lot of his character, but you couldn't tell, thanks to his clever imagination.
Oh, it was easy, Ben. No imagination required. They say write what you know, and that's just what I did. In fact, I only skimmed the surface. You want to hear what the Azathoth worshippers at the World Economic Forum have planned for us?
Maybe some other time.
Happy to be here, Ben. Looking forward to the next chapter. 12 more edicts for life.
I think we're going to go in a different direction. That's not to say you won't be back. Some or all of you may return in future chapters.
Well, I know I'll be back, and frankly, I can't wait. I need something to get me out of the house for when Liz comes over. All she does is complain about you, Donald, 24/7. She'd throw a fit if she knew I was here.
No worries, Dick. What happens in the Biden basement stays in the Biden basement.
I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that and finish up with my notes for this session.
Sounds good. And of course, we want to thank the fans for sticking with us. We still can't guarantee regular releases, but we promise more adventures are on the way. If you'd like to support the channel, check out the link in the video description or the link in the comments.
And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel.
And be sure to stay tuned for more presidential dice rolls where we make adventures great again.